Iambic, their powerful hiring platform that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year two pom-pom people.
Kasey Kurtz.
Yo! But what are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
Get him! Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom!
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Hey, what's happening on a Tuesday on ESPN 690 here at 121 Financial Ballpark, the baseball grounds, Bragan Field for opening day for the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Say hello to the Durham Bulls as they come to town for this long series here in Jacksonville. Of course, Monday's off in AAA, and now we begin a series on a Tuesday night, 7 o'clock all week until we get to Saturday, 6:30, then at 3 o'clock on Sunday. For the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp as they open the home slate, and there's a carnival going on outside the ballpark from 4 o'clock until game time around 7. Special guest coming today for first pitch. We have a flyover as well, so a lot of festivities on a beautiful day. So come on down if you're looking for something to do. 121 Financial Ballpark is the place to be tonight as we begin the baseball season in AAA for the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp here at home. On a Tuesday, you can, of course, listen on ESPN 690, your home for Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp baseball. Brent Martineau here at the ballpark. I spend a lot of my days this time of year at the ballpark, whether it's this one or another one or others. Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz, they spend a lot of their days in the studio.
All the days in the studio.
Of course, Aaron's afraid of the sun.
I'm not afraid. I just know the damage it does, Brent. I told you I got to go back to the dermatologist to get laughed at by the people working in there. I don't need to add extra stress to that visit.
And I don't think Casey's afraid of the sun, but he's also not a friend of the sun.
I just don't like you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
So if I can be in here and you're out there, that's an ideal situation.
Attaboy,
That is
Kasey.
a win.
That's a win for me. It's a win for
That
Kasey.
is a good point. Good win for you. Good win for everybody. I brought out the umbrella today, guys.
You can
Got
tell.
the umbrella
You see it,
on
yeah.
the video feed. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to sweat enough. Got some pants. We'll be doing some TV as well. I don't know why I wore pants anyway, but I'm going to try to avoid sweating some with the old umbrella.
You may want to go old school with a little kerchief and dab your head a little bit as you get a little moist.
A little kerchief.
A little kerchief.
Hey, I was thinking of something to coming over here. I was going to save it for later, but I'll forget about it. I know I will. You know how like the school buses go by and you're supposed to stop, right?
Yes.
When they're letting kids off, the old stop sign.
When the lights are on,
It's
yeah.
not a suggestion. I don't know if you're supposed to stop.
You're supposed to stop.
You should be
All right,
stopping.
so like I get it. Most school buses or a lot of school buses are like in neighborhoods and things like that, so it makes sense. I actually had this thought maybe I need to go back to driver's ed or maybe get a ticket again so I can take something on like an online course. Last time Steph did it for me. Thanks, Steph.
You're
But,
not supposed to admit that. What are you doing?
What are you
Brent
doing?
and Friends live from JSO's Drunk Tank.
I'm not far away from it. So I'm driving over here today from the station, and this is going to be a little hard, so you can help me describe it once I tell you where it's at. St. John's Bluff, right?
Sure.
Between like the station and Beach, the light. You know, like if you're coming out of there, you take a right.
Yeah, it's like in the UNF area over there, yeah.
Yeah, but if you, on St. John's Bluff, you can take a left to go into like the Winn-Dixie parking lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so that's the section I'm
Right
talking
by
about.
295.
Yeah, so right by 295 for everybody else listening, you know, in between the town center and Beach Boulevard, essentially. And so there's a school bus stopped on the other side. And
going the opposite direction.
Going the opposite direction. Like kind of right where the parking lot is for the Winn-Dixie is where the school bus stops. And now, listen, I'm not leading the path here. But I'm watching the car in front of me, and I'm kind of in the same way they are. And you can tell they're like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to go or not. Because we're on the complete opposite side of the road where there's essentially a median in between.
Yeah.
But there also is like a drive area where you can turn on to be. You know what I mean? So like cars can travel right there. So what are you supposed to do in that spot? Are you supposed to stop on the other side, against traffic, or do you continue to go on the other side of St. John's Bluff? Do you have to stop for the school bus?
Kasey, can we have a strategic meeting here? Can we decide what advice to give Brent? Do we want to tell him the right thing, or do we want to put him at risk of getting arrested?
It's the first time in my 45-plus years that I've experienced it, so I'm not sure I need it for the next time.
Yeah, that's a really big plus, by the way, at the end of that 45, but that's okay.
It's almost 46.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
Hey, you got to stop, Brent. You're putting kids' lives at risk, Brent.
Well, I get it. We actually did stop. But they were you could tell they were contemplating in front. And I'm like, listen, pal, I feel you. I don't know either.
Kasey, what are the odds Brent actually stopped?
Low.
No, I had to stop.
Pretty
the guy
low,
was
right?
in front of me.
Well, you got that big truck. I imagine you just roll over the top of him or something.
You guys don't know. I'm putting you on the spot and you don't know.
I just told you.
You have to stop.
I don't know if you're right.
So you don't know.
Okay, great. We do know.
So you have to stop on both sides?
Yes.
It's like a
Everywhere,
median?
bro. The birds have to stop. Everything stops when those stop signs come out and the lights start flashing.
You got to stop, dude. Because what if they walk across the street? What if they live on the other side of the street?
I was
Just gonna
thinking
hit them?
that.
I mean,
That would be a bad bus stop, by the way, if that's the case.
I mean,
Yeah, bad driver at the
it
best.
does
stop.
happen, though.
And by the way, that would mean they live in the Circle K. There's nothing over there to
There's
cross.
apartments literally right next to the Circle K.
Tell him, Case.
There are across it, but
So
they would
you
have a
could
bus
live
stop
in
up
there.
the way.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't think that'd
no.
be their bus.
You got to stop, dog.
I would love to live
All
at a
right, well,
Circle
we
K.
did
Be great.
stop, okay? We
Get
did
tornadoes for
stop.
breakfast?
Yeah, that'd be actually awesome. Huh? We did stop.
Good for you.
So I just want to let that out, JSO, if you're
There's
listening.
no chance you stopped.
I don't believe you stopped.
Guys, I already told you the car in front of me stopped. I'm not
How-
sure I would have stopped if the car in front of me stopped.
How are you supposed to stop when you average 95 miles an hour on every street? in
And the
city?
reason nobody believes you stopped is because we're 8 minutes into the show and you're having to explain that you did actually follow the law. That's
Yeah,
why
I
nobody
probably-
believes you.
Exactly.
You
If I
move on
didn't
if you did it.
If I
Like,
didn't
I
stop,
stopped, we're cool.
if I
Basketball.
didn't stop, I wouldn't have brought it up. But I actually did, and so I was like, "This is what I'm thinking about." Because
Nah,
again,
that's
you could
it
tell
was
the
a
car in
feeler.
front was
You
thinking.
put out a feeler, and
did.
if we were like, you
Yeah.
can go, you would have been like, cool, good news, guys,
Yeah.
didn't stop.
Or better yet, if we would have said, I don't know, he would have,
Exactly.
oh, nobody knows. I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
No, you totally broke the law, and you're going to go down for it, Brent.
Yep. You put kids' lives in danger
I'm
Yeah,
telling.
I did not
on Beach Boulevard.
But
Smart
I
note,
thought
M-A-R-T.
you guys are just bad at helping answer questions.
Oh, is that, even though we gave you the answer, you just don't want to hear it?
Yeah, I don't.
You're like every political fight on Facebook right now. I hope you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, well, I won't be participating in those. So
They're hot and
I might
heavy
as well
today, man.
participate in
Oh, my
something.
goodness.
Are they really? Oh, I
Oh,
bet they
Lord,
are actually.
yeah.
Yeah, again, I guess there is something going on today. I did hear about that.
Mm.
Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz with educational program, driver's ed classes for free here on
ed.
ESPN 690.
Just trying to save the kids' lives, Brent.
That's it. That's all we're trying to do. Hey, how about that we talk more about the NCAA National Championship women's game than we do the men's game?
How crazy is that? Like, we're in the sports industry. We do this for a living. I'm telling you, I heard less talk about this national championship game and the result than maybe any other championship game in my memory of any sport, including when Tampa Bay wins the Stanley Cup and 4 people are watching.
Do we do that? Listen, I understand women's sports is come a long way. Number one, it's some of the sports are just really on the rise from a viewership standpoint. This was incredible. Like some of the numbers from that game on Sunday are just incredible.
Yeah.
Like 9.9 million or something like that. And,
Yes.
you got to be – listen, we work in the TV, radio business, and we see numbers, and there's a lot of spin to numbers sometimes.
It's hard to spin 9.9, man.
But 9.9 million, and then you put it in the context of, like, where they did for the NBA and, like, the NHL and what else is on ESPN. And you're like, wow, man, like, that is crazy. And I tweeted last night, I was like, so why? Like, I get it. I get Caitlin Clark brought a lot of eyes. Hey, LSU's really good. It's a national title game. There's growth in the sport. There's more parity in the sport. Like, I get some of that. It was at a good time slot. That's important. Somebody brought up a good point. A lot of those other games that people are talking about, there's more competition instead of really there wasn't a lot else going on. I guess NASCAR and probably golf at that time on Sunday afternoon. So all those things contribute, but that's an enormous number. And now, like, what does what does women's basketball do from here to take advantage of it? Or was it a one-off thing?
I mean, doesn't it really depend on the characters they bring back to the table next year?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Caitlin Clark is coming back, and so is Reese, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's two of them.
I mean, that's a story, but it's not like Reese was in the national spotlight for her play.
No, but she might be now.
Maybe.
I mean,
certainly
she's very
has the
good.
attention, yeah.
She's very good. We didn't know, we don't know her name as well, and now we do. But everybody's going to know her name and watch her and keep an eye on her.
Sure.
Next year. So I don't know. I'd love to know the brainstorming of what they feel like, okay, how can we take advantage of this? Do we just keep growing it? Do we just keep doing what we're doing? What's going on behind closed doors to say, wow, man, well, this is really good stuff. What's next?
I do think sometimes platforms and leagues get a little too cute for the room when it comes to that stuff.
True. That is true.
Trying to, get in front of the marketing to take advantage like you're talking about. I remember during the Super Bowl, there was I think it was a flag football ad featuring just women. And when I first saw it, it seemed a little bit out of place. I didn't really understand the context. And then I saw an interview about that specific ad a week or two after the Super Bowl where they had some representative talking about the team featured in the ad was the Mexican flag football team, the Mexican women's flag football team. I didn't even know that countries had flag football teams, but they were supposed to be featured and it was supposed to promote this program. And okay, cool. Maybe someone could have told me about it before I saw the ad or as I'm seeing the ad instead of trying to be too cute for the room and do some cool ad where we don't tell you what it's about like some of these other bigger products do where it's an ad for something.
Yeah, you can outthink yourself, right? You can outsmart yourself. And I don't know what the answer is. I'm just interested to see what they're going to do from here, more commercial spots, right? More promotion, more for Reese, more for Clark, more whatever. I don't know. I'm just wondering, can you find more of the stars, identify more of the stars, identify the characters, Kim Mulkey, is there some kind of campaign they can do with all her outfits that she wore over the NCAA tournament? I don't know what it is. I'm just saying this is an opportunity time, or you just go along and maybe that's the call, maybe that's the play. As for I do want to come back to what other sports do we see in that other than soccer? I know soccer is always the answer here. Women's soccer more than men's soccer, right, when it comes to the U.S. Women's national team. But what other sports do this? It captures your attention more than the men do. And how common is this or how uncommon is this?
Tennis has the opportunity often.
They do sometimes, yeah. They have in the past, yeah. I agree with that.
But again, it depends on the characters on the court.
Again, I'm talking at a time, a moment in time, not all the time. I talk about this with softball versus baseball in the collegiate game. I think the College Softball World Series really attracts a lot of people. Now, I don't have the hard numbers in front of me, and I don't know how much more versus baseball, but it feels like people are more entertained by the softball College World Series than they are by the men's College World Series. And that's a feel thing more than, a matter-of-fact thing, but you get the idea. We talk soccer, and I don't even know the full numbers on the soccer, but it certainly feels like in the United States that women's national team, Kasey, has a lot more love, following, hope, all this other stuff that you can grab onto than even the men. Although if you look at soccer stadiums around the United States when the men's national team plays, pretty packed, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's yes and no there. The women are better by a long shot, but I also think it's similar to the men. The women also play friendlies and other games that nobody cares about. So when they get in a tournament like the World Cup, like the Olympics, you're like, oh, okay, cool, because they're probably going to win because they're the best team in the world. So I think it's partially true, and in the big events, they're going to win it. But in terms of regular just events, I think it's about the same as the men, to be honest.
So, yeah. Brent, you said you didn't have the numbers. Just fact-checking some of this on Google. Women's softball, the tournament at the end of the year averaged 294,000 viewers across ESPN, ESPN2, up 19% from 21 and up 21% from 2019. But the big games, the Women's College World Series, actually outdrew the final game of the Men's College World Series in 2022, at least. Women's with 1.74 million, men's 1.54 million.
And I thought I had seen that. So, yeah, there's some numbers to back it up. I'm going to give you a couple. The Olympics are interesting here, right? Gymnastics, of course, is a big one.
Oh, yeah.
Way more popular than
Way
the men.
more.
Not even close. And figure skating's another one. And by the way, while those sound like we're not going to talk about it on Brent Friends every day, figure skating and gymnastics, they are two of the pillars of the Olympics. Those are two of the highest-rated sports they have, if not the highest-rated.
And pillars of American medaling most years.
Yeah, and in the past, and stories and stars and all the rest. But the women dominate the men on that side. Like, dominate. I would say figure skating is closer to women, but I don't know that, than gymnastics. Like, you can name like 2 or 3 gymnastics men's stars like in the history.
Can we?
I can't even do that.
I can't.
Like maybe. And don't put me on the spot here. But
Well, it sounded like that's what you were doing to us, and we can't help you. I don't know.
I mean, I can name historical
like
women gymnastics. I can name current women gymnastics.
I want to say most recently, like the Ham brothers, I think, from Ohio State.
Check
they
it.
were.
Check him.
Check the
Back
Ham
right.
brothers. Okay? And then, now I'm putting, I
trying
could
to think of a
bunch
third?
of male, like, figure skaters, like Brian Boitano. Was he
He was a
American or
figure
Canadian?
skater. I think he was American.
Scott Hamilton
Was American.
huge, right? There's one other male gymnastic that the guy that calls the games. Rowdy. No, that's the swimmer.
Roddy Piper.
No, not Roddy Piper.
Oh.
I think there's another gymnast that like calls it. That used to be a big-time American gymnast. Now I can't
Glenn
remember.
says Kurt Thomas. Does that sound right?
He was a Knicks player, power forward.
that does not.
Okay.
sound
Not the same guy.
right. So anyway, obviously the women
Played for
dominate
TCU.
in that.
Okay.
I'm just saying. He scored
Hey,
a lot that year.
What is there something up and coming that the women could dominate in?
Pickleball. I have no idea. I mean, swimming, I guess they have an equal opportunity to. I think it's hard to be a celebrity swimmer. Like Michael
do
Phelps
too.
did it.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
to that point, though, Katie Ledecky is literally as good as Michael Phelps.
Yeah, but Kasey, she's not as bigger than him. Like the male swimmers are bigger.
No, I know. I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, like, you have the comparison because Katie Ledecky is as goated as goated gets, and
Yeah,
if
yeah, I
she's
got
not
you.
bigger, like, you're not getting
Yeah.
better than Katie Ledecky.
Yeah, it's usually all medal count with those sports, unless it's like one of these villain characters. I guess you could call what was his name? Ryan. Was it Lochte?
Lochte.
Is one of these
Lochte,
villain guys for a little bit.
Well, by the way, our buddy Ryan Murphy, they've got stars on the men's swimming side, and obviously Phelps was bigger than, just everything. But Casey's not wrong about Ledecky. What I'm saying is I think the men still catch more attention in swimming.
Hey, Brent,
than
I
they
did
do.
check you on Google. The Ham brothers say you have to stop, full stop at the bus when the bus starts flashing the lights.
But I was right on those guys, aren't I?
Yes, the
Is
Ham
it
brothers.
Ham, like H-A-M?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, see that? How about that? That's a good pull.
That's a really good pull, actually. To be
Like
honest.
a good pull today.
The better pull would have been the cops pulling you out of the car as you broke the law, but that's fine. We'll
That's
suffer.
always a good pull. As for the men's national championship last night, UConn just better, guys. I'll give you this. San Diego State, I appreciate their effort.
Good. Glad
No,
you
no,
do.
I do. Like, they could have got blown out by 25, like, several times.
I mean, it was
Now,
pretty
they ended up
close.
getting beat by 17, but it was a 5-point game with under 4 minutes to go. No,
Yeah.
seriously, they cut it to 5.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Nobody's going to talk about, but the guy misses the free throw, I think, down 6, or maybe it was 7, and then they go on a big run right after that. Like, I think that took the wind out of their sails. Coming out of the timeout, the 4-minute, under 4 timeout, they had a chance to get it down to 5 again, and he missed the front end of the one-on-one, and that was kind of it. The bottom line is San Diego State's not gifted enough on offense. They just couldn't score. And UConn's defense, while everybody talks about San Diego State, UConn's defense was terrific. Terrific. UConn just too good.
Yeah.
And
Again.
here's the thing. Yeah, again, and I think they're like perfect 5-0 in national title games. Isn't that crazy?
That is nuts.
They are like a blue blood if you want to compare them to others. Like they should be in the conversation. But I also feel like they're like the San Antonio Spurs guys that won so much but stayed so far under the radar. UConn's a very good basketball program that I don't think will ever get enough credit for it, and also feels at times, even though they've won 5 times in like the last 20-something years, I don't want to say irrelevant, but definitely under the radar. Do you guys feel that way?
I do a little bit. I agree with your point, ultimately, right? Like, I don't think they're completely under the radar, especially not to the college basketball fan. But I think the way UConn plays, and really this was how Calhoun used to play, and kind of speaks to how Hurley does it now, that's a team running a team offense and playing team defense versus some of these other schools like a Kentucky or even this year's Alabama, where they have 1 or 2 standout dudes who are just running the game and everyone else is kind of running with them.
Yeah, but Kasey, I will say this. Like, UConn, I don't think people know as much about them, but they have like 3 NBA guys. I mean, they got legit talent like a Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke, Arizona, Kansas, all of them.
Yeah, I mean, they do. But I think when it comes to UConn and basketball, like the only thing I think of outside of what just happened this year is Kemba Walker. Like, that's all I got.
Why?
That's all I don't know. That's all I think of.
He was one of many guards, even in that time period.
Yeah.
Come out of that school.
Do you know the other ones?
I mean, there are a few of them.
The smaller, like, thicker guy, Raheem, right? Was it Abdur-Rahim? Abdur-Rahim?
I'm telling you, all I know is Kemba Walker.
I think that was.
But Kemba was like a star guy. He was a shooting star at UConn versus some of these other players who play well together, play NBA level, but are never going to be an MVP or an all-star in the NBA. Like a guy like back in the day, like Emeka Okafor, who was like the best college player. You're never going to see a guy from UConn go into the NBA and just rip it up everywhere.
Ray Hamilton?
Again, like he was great, but he was never the best at his position in the pros. I'm struggling to think of one UConn player who was dominant in the NBA.
I'm kind of too. Like
after all the guys they've sent, and they've sent a ton every year.
Was it Ray? It's not Ray Hamilton. Rip Hamilton. Ray Hamilton.
Rip Hamilton.
Rip Hamilton.
Rip Hamilton. You know what's interesting? Bring this conversation full circle. Do you think UConn will never get the love they deserve from a men's program because of their women's program?
No, I don't buy that.
No.
I don't buy that.
That's it?
No, they both get love.
When I think of UConn basketball, I think women.
Maybe because it stands out more to you, but when I think UConn basketball, I think both, if not men first.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not just saying that, guys. I genuinely, when you say UConn basketball, I think women right away.
But isn't that more recent, like their dominance?
I mean,
they're both along the same lines, Kasey. Like, when's the first UConn men's national title? Wasn't it in like the late 90s?
I have to look it up.
But like, and so therefore that was right at like the start, I think, of Auriemma, or maybe Auriemma and company had already started with the battles with Tennessee, and then they took over the world. I mean, they took over the college basketball world. You're talking about naming guys on UConn over the years. You can name women players.
You can. But when I think women's basketball, I think Tennessee before I think UConn.
Not me anymore. Like I kind of put them in the same breath, to your point. And that would be like Kasey doesn't think Tennessee at all. At his age, he thinks UConn.
Oh, he was a baby boy when Pat Summitt was still over there.
Yeah. But I genuinely think, and this isn't a knock, I just think people think women's basketball when you think UConn.
Okay.
Like they were that dominant.
Here's why I say what I said. They won in 2014, and then they won again this year. So that's 10 years.
This is the men, right?
Yeah. In that time, the women went to the Final Four in 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's my point. It's more recent. Like they went 10 years. UConn went 10 years without winning.
And by the way, how many titles did they win?
In that stretch, 3.
Yeah. Go to the Final Four every single year.
Yeah. Like that. It's more recent.
Stay on this a little bit longer, though. Can you, since you have it up, when was the first title for UConn men? And when did the run start for UConn women? Is that clear to find?
So the men won in 99 for the first time.
Wow. It has been a hell of a run. That's a hell of a run in 25 years.
Oh, yeah.
5 titles.
Oh, yeah.
And then the women, it pretty much started in 2000.
Oh, so it was right then. I thought it was a little bit earlier, but right then.
They took a couple years off, but then from 2008 to 2022, they win every year.
Wow. So it was,
to the Final Four.
You're right. Like, it is more recent. It is, but again, it's not
25 years isn't recent, though.
Like,
it's
Kasey,
a long time.
And Aaron, this isn't like we're talking about UCLA men's hoops, though. Like where you got to go back to find the Wooden days before last year or whatever when they were in the title game.
Yeah.
I mean, both of the men's and women's programs at UConn have been very good over the last 25 years, and that's where all of their very goodness has lived.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not discounting. I'm not telling you everybody would say women's basketball. I'm just telling you I genuinely think women's basketball when I hear UConn before men. Now, I don't discount the men. I just think more women.
It's interesting.
And you don't, and that's okay. And maybe others don't, but I really do. And I wonder if that's why it's kind of hurt them. I do think in the Big East as well. The Big East was down for a good amount of time, so that's hurt them a little bit probably, and now it's back, and I think people got to respect the Big East again because it's pretty damn good.
It is interesting. Oh, Kasey's got breaking news.
Oh.
Kurt Thomas was a gold medal winning gymnast, Brent. So, good try on that doesn't sound right. He played center for the Knicks.
No, I didn't say, timeout. I didn't say that doesn't sound right.
Brent did.
And I didn't say.
Brent said it didn't sound right.
Okay. He did not play center. He played power forward. He was undersized, 6'9", went to TCU. I think he scored 29 in his senior season and 10 or 11 rebounds or 12 rebounds a game that year. Double-double, as opposed to the quad single that Shakhtar Bomb brings to the court. And he was amazing until he got to the Knicks, and then he nixed it up a little bit.
Well, I try to remember Kurt Thomas, the basketball player, not the gymnast.
Yeah,
and by the way, I'm struggling for gymnast names so much that Coach Rob, Ray Allen is from UConn. He was the best shooter literally all time until Steph.
Yes.
And also Little New 02. How the heck are you guys spacing on Ray Allen? You know what? Call us out because you're right.
He's right.
Spaced? I'm thinking Rip Hamilton, and I'm forgetting about Ray Allen.
Here's the thing. Ray Allen wasn't the best UConn player of all time. Ray Allen was the best player to come out of UConn all time. He's absolutely right. Ray Allen completely is the only example. If I were to rip off these names, guys, I'm telling you, Hashim Thabit, Cliff Robinson, Donyell Marshall, Khalid El-Amin, Ben Gordon, Ray Allen, Shabazz Napier, Emeka Okafor, Kemba Walker, Rip Hamilton, your top 10 UConn players of all time, all of them go to the NBA. Some of them were pretty good. Ray Allen was tremendous and dominant and great, and nobody else was.
I wasn't born yet. That's my defense.
Well, that's fair enough. El-Amin, by the way, is the guy I was thinking.
Khalid El-Amin.
Wasn't he the?
Because you were starting to say Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, which was like from the early 90s.
No, I'm not thinking. I wasn't thinking him. I was thinking Abdur Rahim. For some reason, El-Amin.
Khalid El-Amin.
He was a fun guy to watch.
Yeah, he's a little quick and
you know why?
chubby
Because
guy.
he looked like the guy at the gym.
Yeah, a little fire hydrant.
And he was awesome.
He was. He was a great guard.
They really have. It's a fair point, and obviously we totally whiffed on Ray Allen there as we're thinking.
Really? I mean, embarrassingly, yes.
It is embarrassing.
One of the best shooters of all time.
Trying to overcome it. We're going to go to break because of it.
We're running.
But outside of that, I mean, listen, those are big names that you said, and I remember all those players.
Mm-hmm.
But, you're right about it comes to the NBA. It's pretty interesting that they haven't had a better run in the NBA. Although two of those guys are really strong. Rip Hamilton and obviously Ray Allen.
But I just think they run more of a team-oriented style of offense that doesn't necessarily – it's not conducive to producing all-star NBA guys.
Yeah. Interesting look. What a study. What a way to start the show. The sprinklers are coming on.
Oh, good.
This could be a disaster. We'll be back. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A very warm day today under partly sunny skies, the high 88. Down into the mid-60s tonight and partly sunny and hot tomorrow, your Wednesday high around 90. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Now get 0% interest for 5 years with nothing down.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Shine Down, the Revolution's live tour. Friday, April 14th, VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. With special guest, 3 Days Grace. And From Ashes to New. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss Shine Down live.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate allows you to skip the hassle and get your home sold fast and stress-free. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry, so you can sell your home stress-free, make the most money, and move when you're ready. One of our clients, Danielle, said, "I can't say enough good things about Mark Spain Real Estate. Their guaranteed offer made selling my home so easy. I highly recommend them to anyone interested in selling their home. Don't worry about the hassle of constant cleaning and making costly repairs. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. I've been in business for nearly 30 years and have served over 50,000 satisfied clients. And I know what matters most, a quick sale and maximum profit. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be there's no obligation. Sell your home fast with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Certain restrictions apply.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire the largest injury firm in the world for your injury case? Lots of people hired us. We've collected over $15 billion and won a lot. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
See you, Dad. Bye, honey.
Have fun today, you guys. My back pain has left me feeling isolated. After years of physical therapy, chiropractors, and acupuncture, my pain needed a permanent solution. Finally, I found Integrity Spine and Orthopedics in Jacksonville. Their top-rated doctors listen to you, and they even create your own personalized plan. Now, I don't have to miss out on life with my family. Hey, guys, wait up!
Integrity, where you matter most. Schedule your appointment today at integritymattersmost.com.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the
right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Hey, welcome back to the baseball grounds, 121 Financial Ballpark, Bragan Field. We got the home opener tonight for the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, your AAA team and your official station of the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp right here on ESPN 690. Join the call starting at 6:50 tonight. First pitch, 7:05. There will be a special first pitch out here tonight between the Durham Bulls and Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp to kick off the 2023 home opening season. There'll be a flyover as well. There's a carnival going on outside. It starts at 4 o'clock in between VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena and here at 121 Financial Ballpark. So a lot of fun festivities, and we got a beautiful day for it. It's a little hot, no doubt about it, but it's a beautiful day. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz, jumping in on a Tuesday here on Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton coming up next. Don't forget to check out our No Gate Fees show. We did it yesterday at 2 o'clock instead of 7. Back on at 7 next Monday as we talk youth sports and also high school baseball and softball. You can always go back and listen to the show. And yesterday's topic was umpires and officiating and referees. That's always a fun one to get involved with. And you can listen on our Action Sports Jacks YouTube channel, and also on the podcast and everywhere else you get all our shows on ESPN 690. Hey, story out of New England today. Mac Jones is being shopped around, guys. Did this surprise you at all this late in the game? I'm not saying he just was shopped like yesterday, but that it took so long for someone to find out maybe that Mac Jones might have been shopped this offseason by the New England Patriots.
Well, you sound like you feel like the shopping is over, but I'm not sure that it is. I think the shopping is still happening.
It could still be happening, but I would say this to that. When you have a shopping spree, you usually need someone to buy something. Who's buying?
Brian
and
Hoyer.
obviously nobody's bought yet.
But we did
Who's left to buy?
We did see who the interested parties were. And they
Yeah,
were
we
all
saw some
quarterback needy teams, and a lot of them have now signed Plan A, which may have been Mac Jones, but it may not have been Mac Jones.
Yeah, and that's my point. That's why I think could it be over. Now, could someone still be desperate? The Jets, the Ravens, the Colts if they don't get their guy?
Well, do you need desperate for Mac Jones? I was going to say.
You need to be desperate for Mac Jones, but I'm just saying there's an alternative plan now if you didn't bite the first time, right?
That's fair.
And so now maybe their plan fizzles out, falls through, and then they're like, hey, let's go revisit this. But then that would leave potentially the Patriots empty-handed too.
Yeah.
Unless they just like Zappy.
I mean, they're into Zappy, but a lot of people are now connecting rumors that maybe the Patriots are in on Lamar.
Yeah.
And that's the other side of this. I read a very interesting article over at PFT about how this all came to be. And part of it, as you read through it, you go, has Belichick really got an ego that big? And then you stop for a second, you go, yeah, no, he probably does. But listen to this, Brent. According to Pro Football Talk, it all started with Jones being on the wrong side of a failed experiment to replace offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels with not offensive coordinator Matt Patricia. All right, Chris Sims was on PFT actually telling this story. He says that Mac Jones actually ended up calling some of his members of his former Alabama coaching staff in order to get some information on how to run the offense properly because the coordinators and coaches on the Patriots didn't have the information. We actually saw some of this in that big athletic expose, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So the word gets to Nick Saban that Mac Jones is calling his former offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Saban gets it to Belichick. Belichick is incensed that Jones would call Alabama for any insight, and he ends up in the doghouse. Well, in that fight, Brian Hoyer ends up standing up for Mac Jones, saying, hey, he's telling you what's going on in this quarterback room. We're listless here. We don't really have a plan A or B or C. We need help. And reportedly, according to PFT and Chris Sims telling the story, that is also what led to Hoyer getting exited out of the building and now ending up with the Raiders.
You know, there's a lot of stuff here, okay? If those stories were true, and by the way, there's been plenty of smoke, and something went amiss regardless of what you believe, read, whatever else is going to come out of that building over the last year. And there's a shame on Bill Belichick part of this. An absolute shame on Bill Belichick. Belichick considered one of the greats of all time, and he should be. But he also got too smart for himself. And he messed this up. And he might have messed it up on several levels. Maybe Mac wasn't the guy to pick. But once you pick him and you invest in him and then you surround him and put him in a position to succeed. I say this all the time here on the show and just in life. Whatever job you're in, you want to be in a position to succeed. They failed Mac Jones in a big-time way as a young quarterback going into year two.
Totally.
Failed him. When he was losing his offensive coordinator, they did everything that you could do wrong. Much like this organization, quite frankly, failed Trevor Lawrence in the first year of his tenure in the NFL with Urban Meyer. And they did. That was a failure because they put him in an awful spot. They thought they were doing good. They weren't. The difference here with Belichick is, like, he was trying to outsmart the room doing this. Like, this was so outside the box. Like, Urban Meyer wasn't outside. I mean, he's outside the box a little bit, but not that much. Other people had ventured into that box.
What was
Belichick, who's supposed to be smart,
a genius,
and is supposed to be great, he failed this kid.
What was he doing? What did he think he was doing?
And so that's one end of the story. The other part of the story is we don't know how good Mac is. I say this about Trey Lance, right? We don't know 2 years in how good Mac Jones is.
See, that's where I lose you. And when you bring up Trey Lance here, we actually do know how good Mac Jones is.
Or at least we know where his floor could be if that's the worst he's going to play. We don't know the best he's going to play, but we know he's at least capable of what we saw the rookie and second year.
Sure, and you even take capable in going to the playoffs the rookie year. All he literally had was a coach that has coached offense in his life. You gave him that as a rookie. He completed 67%. He literally had the same collection of bums. He had Jacoby Myers and some dudes you've never heard of outside of Hunter Henry.
Jacoby.
People that had no business being receivers for the Patriots. He took them to the playoffs with an offensive coach.
Yeah.
So I that's where I get lost with this. I don't think Mac Jones is bad. They absolutely did him a disservice. But, like, give him another offensive coach, you might go back to the playoffs because that's the track record you have.
Yeah, and that's a fair assessment. It's different in the sense of Lance, who obviously has been hurt and hasn't played very much. But I guess the context I put it in, Kasey, is when you invest in these quarterbacks, right, you want to know, like, where they fit, where they are. And while there is some evidence that he can be good, I thought McDaniels was very good with him 2 years ago, too, in that rookie season. And I thought Mac played, obviously, very well to get them in the playoffs. But I still don't know where Mac fits in the pantheon of quarterbacks. Like, I don't know where he's going to be. I don't know if New England is best with Mac or best going in a different direction. Like, I don't have a good feel of that. Maybe that's just because of last year, but I just don't know. The Trey Lance stuff totally different. I haven't seen him enough. Like, he might be talented. It might be really good once he hits the field and stays on the field. But we just haven't seen it. We don't know. So, if I ask you this, case, like, if I'm trying to think of a good, like Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, like, it's hard to say because, like, it's in the AFC South, but if you're an Indianapolis fan, would you be like, let's go get Mac Jones, man, we're going to win? I'll get Mac Jones. He's going to take us where we need to go.
I think if you're...
Or are you confused on it, you know?
No, I think if you're sitting there with the current options of picking fourth and not getting your pick of quarterback or getting Mac Jones where you can still keep the fourth pick, I'm doing that because you could, with all the other dudes the Colts have played, with Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers, whoever, that's tough to convince. I think you can look at Mac Jones, and if you're the GM and you're the coach trying to convince the fan base for some reason, you're like, look, he played 1 year as a rookie with a competent coach that called offense, and they went to the playoffs with a not talented roster. The next year, they brought in 2 defensive coordinators to call the plays like idiots. We have an offensive head coach. We have an offensive coordinator. We have people that understand how to call offense, and we have a better roster than they have in their skill position players. So, yes, if I'm the Colts and I'm not sold on who I'm going to get it for, I'm absolutely all over Mac Jones.
I don't know that the Colts are, like, over the moon over the thought of Mac Jones just because he's not elite and he doesn't offer the promise of the unknown like one of these rookies in this year's draft does. But we keep saying Mac Jones regressed last year. Certainly felt that way. The Patriots ended up being 6-8 coming off of a 10-7 season. But I just looked at the numbers, and instead of just looking at the numbers for 14 games, which is all that Mac got to start last year because of injury, I then prorated that for 17 games, and his numbers are not off, not very far off from his rookie campaign where he actually had a good coaching staff. As a rookie, 3,800 yards, 3,801. As a pro last year, he had 2,997, but it would have been, if he kept that pace, 3,639. So less than 200 yards fewer. Touchdowns, 22. Last year, he had 14 injury, prorated that out to 17, so off by 5 touchdowns. Interceptions, 13 in his rookie year. Last year, 11. That would have been 13 in a 17-game season. Here's the stat that jumps off the page to me. Rookie season, 28 sacks. And you know you're taking more sacks as a rookie. You know you're taking more sacks as a rookie. Indecisiveness, bad decision-making. 28 sacks as a rookie. 34 last year in 14 games. That would have been 41 at that pace in a 17-game season.
Yeah. And put in a horrible situation. Like, as a local guy for us, I've always said I don't know how high his ceiling is, but I do think he can be good. I'm still a bit confused on him, to be honest, but I think you bring up valid points, Kasey, too. I'm going to give you a place that would be really interesting for Mac Jones. Follow Brady, Tampa.
I mean, they're certainly calling on everybody else.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And the Bucs, they were kicking the tires on him.
Like, to me, that would be interesting. Like, I think Mac, first of all, you'd put stuff around him, right? I mean, the best stuff he's had in 3 years. And
Easily.
I mean, that could be a really good place for a guy like Mac Jones at this point of his career with what they have on offense and what they kind of need, because they'd have a guy with experience who could come in and probably perform at a good level for you at the minimum. So that would intrigue me if Mac Jones ended up in a place like Tampa. Hey, what are the other teams listed in that article real quick before we hit the break?
We saw the Commanders, the Titans, the Bucks, the Texans, and maybe one more I'm forgetting about.
Okay, so the Bucks were on that. Okay, see that makes some sense. The Titans are interesting too. Washington doesn't do anything for me with Mac, although you got Terry McLaurin. I mean, you got some guys. I don't know. I just think I wouldn't want to send anybody to the
Sorry, the
Commanders
Raiders were also on that list, of course.
That's the thing. Nobody wants to volunteer anybody to go to Washington, but I mean, Brian Robinson running it, and then you've got McLaurin and Dotson.
Yeah. Might not be bad options.
Yeah, there's other stuff you got to get through, but
I mean, better than what the Patriots were last year.
100%.
I'm not sitting there looking at the Commanders going, that's an enviable position to be in as quarterback.
But it's better.
Yeah, one more thought relative to Belichick when we come back. Brent Friends on ESPN 690 live from the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp home opener. First pitch coming up tonight, 7:05, and you can listen right here on ESPN 690.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale starts now with limited quantity deals on select performance PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Save on select essential accessories plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Everyone loves TV Dad.
On the next TV Dad, presented by Progressive, TV Dad gets us through heartache.
Chin up, sport.
Oh, hey, TV Dad.
You know what heals all wounds?
Time?
No, it's remembering that drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
But Jen still doesn't want to be with me.
True. I actually saw her with your friend Brian earlier.
Wait, what?
Listen to your TV Dad. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
Right now, American Window Products is offering the newest features in window technology with Ultra Dual Low E glass and insulated vinyl frames with magnet weather stripping on windows for an airtight seal to help reduce your energy usage, all at an affordable price. This exclusive offer is for a limited time, so act now to save big with 12 months zero interest financing. Schedule a free estimate at AmericanWindowProducts.com. American Window Products, the window professionals.
Financing at time of sale for new orders only.
Digital marketing, well, my intern handles the social media, my brother-in-law does my search, and my receptionist sends out email blasts. All done.
Your digital marketing may get done, but is it doing anything? No? Then let CMG Local Solutions help. At CMG Local Solutions, we combine the best-in-class technology and analytics to maximize your digital dollars while targeting local customers for your business. So your digital marketing doesn't just get done, it gets results. Learn more about how we can help you at cmglocalsolutions.com.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8214. 904-664-8214. That's 904-664-8214.
Earn more at Community First Credit Union. We make it easy with great rates, fewer fees, and accounts that deliver returns, like CDs and IRAs. With short and long-term options, we can help you reach your goals now and in the future. So save confidently and just be yourself with Community First. Add an account now at communityfirstfl.org. Community First Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When I started in '98, it was a different mentality for first responders.
I've seen a lot of people struggle after retirement, still fighting the same demons that they had on the job.
The ability to reach out to a peer support program is huge.
I've done your job. I know the burden you carry. You've saved other people. Let us save you at this time.
It only takes a couple seconds to dial 3 numbers.
First responders, call 211 or visit stayfitforduty.org.
Shop the Beaches Green Market this and every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Penman Park on Penman Road for fresh local fruits and vegetables, plants, meats, eggs, baked goods, honey, wellness products, and so much more. EBT cards welcome. DigLocal.org for more info.
Hey, it's Brent Mortno from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Hey, welcome back to Brent Friends. Mike Greenberg will join us coming up at the top of the hour. He's got a new book. It's an interesting book, and I can't wait to hear more about it because, quite frankly, I don't know exactly what they're debating. I haven't read it yet. It just was released today.
Hot off the press.
It's a debate about numbers, and I have a different kind of perspective on what I think it is. And so I can't wait to hear him explain it and see what it's about. Plus, we got 2 Jets fans coming on the show now, Kasey. I mean, this is going to be – I mean, how many times am I going to bring up Trevor Lawrence here in the next couple minutes?
We are different kinds of Jet fans, though. I am the proverbial upset, angry, depressed Jets fan. And he is the proverbial Jets optimist. He always thinks the beginning of every season, this will be the year the guys turn it around. They're finally doing the right things, as opposed to the rest of the fan base like me, who's like, yeah, just end the season, JETS.
That'll be a lot of fun to have Mike Greenberg on. He's been on the show before, and I look forward to having him on once again. Brent Friends on ESPN 690, live here at 121 Financial Ballpark, Jumbo Shrimp Home Opener. Guys are getting out there warming up. We'll have some BP coming up in just a bit, and it's a beautiful, hot afternoon, but it should be a gorgeous night here at the ballpark. So come on out, check out some Jumbo Shrimp baseball. If you can't get out, you can listen on ESPN 690. Brent Morton, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz. Guys, to finish up the conversation we're having, we're mentioning Mac Jones and Bill Belichick and Jones. Where could he go? Where would be a fit if they really did shop him or somebody was interested? One other thought on Belichick. We were talking about him yesterday. It's funny. It's like Patriots week here on ESPN 690. But we were talking about Belichick yesterday, and he's 70 years old. And would he go somewhere else, or is he going to finish in New England? If you're Bill and Kraft just said, hey, when it comes to Lamar, ask Bill. He makes those decisions. Well, if I'm the guy making those decisions and I'm 70, and I don't know about my quarterback because obviously it appears Belichick isn't all in on his quarterback. Why not go all in on Lamar Jackson right now? Isn't this the perfect time? Like one last hurrah? What the hell?
Oh, I thought it was because the owner allegedly told him not to. Weird.
Well, the owner, back at the owner's meetings when asked about it, said.
Right. To the press, he said that, yes. And then to Bill Belichick, allegedly, he was like, no, that's not going to happen.
Okay, well, even if he did say that, why wouldn't you fight for that? Like, why not?
There is no reason why not. They should be. They should have been fighting for it, whether they believed in Mac or not. He's a tremendous upgrade over literally every quarterback in the NFL, with the exception of 6 or 7 guys.
Yeah, but I don't know if I believe that, because when you invest in a quarterback 2 years, let's just take all this sideshow stuff about the shopping around and everything else. If you invest in a quarterback 2 years ago, not everybody turns out like the Jets and gets a new one 2 years later.
Okay, but you want to take out the part that's the important part of the equation. They drafted this quarterback 2 years ago, and they're already shopping him. So that's the situation I think multiple teams would be in if the GMs weren't afraid of getting fired. And that's how it is in New England right now.
Well, like I said, given all the circumstances, if I'm Belichick, I'm 70, I got like a few more years left. Go all in for Lamar, man.
Why not?
Make it happen.
Get another championship on your way out. Chuck up those deuces right off into the sunset.
Mike Greenberg next. Brent Friends on ESPN 690.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? 1-to-1 Financial. We're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
It's been a heck of a few months for us with Nimnick Buick GMC. We bought the kids their first car from Nimnick, the sixth car in 15 years we've purchased from the Nimnick family. They are part of the community as well. A couple months ago, Nimnick helped give away a scholarship with us for a local high school student athlete. It's more than just a car business. They are really good at the car business, though. Nimnick Buick GMC is Jacksonville's #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Looking for the perfect truck or SUV? Nimnick Buick GMC has more models on the ground than they've had in 2 years. Check them out in the showroom off Phillips Highway or NimnickBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
It all comes down to this. Daniel Davis and Donna Deegan face off in the mayoral debate, live from the University of North Florida. Where do they stand on the big issues? What's their vision for the future of Jacksonville? Voters want to hear both sides. Join Action News Jax anchors John Bachman and Tanika Hughes for the Davis-Deegan mayoral debate, live from UNF, Thursday, April 20th at 7, only on Action News Jax.
Are you ready for a great deal? Do you have your heart set on a new Toyota? Then go to the Ready, Set, Go sales event happening now at Arlington Toyota. Of course, at Arlington, you get Ready, Set, Go deals and more, like 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. Plus, every new Toyota comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty. That's unlimited time and miles. But you better shop now before Ready, Set, Go is gone. Don't wait. Shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person who'd hired another law firm. The insurance company had offered them $11,000, but we said, let's take another look. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. All law firms are not the same, and just because you already hired a firm, that doesn't mean you can't fire that firm. Luckily, this client did. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention, if you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-240-6345 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-240-6345. That's 800-240-6345. Again, 800-240-6345.
Team owner Michael Bidwell of gross misconduct in an arbitration claim to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. He alleges Bidwell pressured he and then coach Steve Wilkes to use a burner phone to secretly remain in communication with GM Steve Keim, who was serving a 5-game team-imposed suspension after being arrested for extreme DUI. The Cardinals deny the allegations. Iowa star Caitlin Clark won the 2023 Wooden Award given to the nation's most outstanding college basketball player. Among the topics she was asked about during today's appearance on SportsCenter, the gestures of LSU's Angel Reese and trash talking during the women's national title game. Any criticism of Reese is unwarranted, according to Clark.
We're all competitive. We all show our emotions in a different way. You know, Angel's a tremendous player. I have nothing but respect for her. I love her game, the way she rebounds the ball, scores the ball. is absolutely incredible. I'm a big fan of her, and even the entire LSU team. Like I said, they played an amazing game. So, I don't think there should be any criticism for what she did.
Braves ace Max Fried on the injured list with a strained hamstring.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, their powerful hiring platform that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Kasey Kurtz.
Yo! What are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom!
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Home opening day for the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. We are live at 121 Financial Ballpark right here in Jacksonville. Jumbo Shrimp against the Durham Bulls tonight in AAA baseball. They'll have a big party going on outside the stadium, a carnival of sorts. Flyover later tonight. We'll have a big special first pitch coming out tonight as well. I can't name who it is. We're not supposed to know who it is.
Oh, it's a big secret, huh?
I don't understand why it's a secret, but it should be fun, and you'll see that probably around
Andrew Jackson returning to town.
6:50, our coverage starts on ESPN 690 for Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp baseball. You like numbers? If you like baseball, I bet you like numbers. If you like sports, I bet you love numbers as well. Well, there's a new book coming out called Gut Your Number, the greatest sports legends and the numbers they own. And the co-author of that book is Mike Greenberg from ESPN, and he joins us right now. Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, Aaron Schachter, also a Jets fan. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But, Greeny, thanks for taking some time. It's the release date right here on a Tuesday, and somehow we got you on the show on the release date. We must have gotten the queue way ahead of everybody else.
Well, thank you very much for having me on today. We're thrilled. It's the process of this is something that is thrilling. My parents were writers, and all I ever really wanted when I was a kid was to be a published author, and so I never take this day for granted. It's always the most thrilling experience, and I'm thrilled to be on with you guys. This is my first sports book, and I'm really proud of it. I think it's a new direction for me, and I feel really good about it.
It might be an understatement that you were thrilled, Greeny. I think you were really amped up, even as early as this morning on TV where you had this epic freak-out moment.
This is the worst idea I've ever heard of my life. Are you out of your mind? Tannenbaum, I want this man expelled, not only from this conversation, but from all football conversations that are ever to come.
So, Greedy, I don't know if you know this. Our producer, Kasey, wakes up literally 5 minutes before the show, so I doubt he watched the TV show. So, Case, what do you think Greeny is reacting to there? You think he's reacting to maybe Brent suggesting the Jags use room temp water instead of cold Gatorade on game day? Is he reacting to you suggesting, Kasey, that Shohei Ohtani play quarterback for the 49ers instead of Brock Purdy? Or is he suggesting to my Jets drafting Hendon Hooker, my guy, at pick number 13, Case? Which one do you think it is?
I hope it's Hendon Hooker because I need to hear more about that.
Let's listen in.
You want the Jets to take a quarterback in the first round now? We're just finally going to get Rodgers. You're going to piss him off before the whole thing even starts? He's going to be mad. He's going to be frustrated. I'm going to fight Damian Woody now. There's going to be a fight.
Mike, you're going to fight Damian Woody. I think you need some help, buddy.
I think all things considered, I showed remarkable restraint considering the lunacy of the idea. So what Mike Tannenbaum was suggesting, and the conversation was about the Jets trying to hold on to their first-round pick this year, which is number 13 overall, rather than trading it to Green Bay for Rodgers. And I would love the Jets to hold on to it because they could draft an offensive tackle to help Aaron Rodgers win us the first Super Bowl we'd have won in over half a century. And instead, Mike Tannenbaum is suggesting that what the Jets should do is use that to draft a quarterback who we can develop so that when Rodgers' short-lived stay in New York, be it a year or two, comes to an end, that we'll have a quarterback at the ready. And that's the worst idea I've ever heard anyone have in my entire life. Let's start with the fact that the last time Aaron Rodgers' team drafted a quarterback in the first round, he didn't react to it real well.
Didn't go so well.
And didn't go so well. Let's then move to the fact that you were getting Aaron Rodgers because you were trying to catch lightning in a bottle. When you're trying to catch lightning in a bottle, you want to expand the size of your bottle, not get the next one for the time when this one doesn't catch any lightning. We have to put when you go out and get Aaron Rodgers, the Jets become the dictionary definition of the win now team. No one should be trying to win now harder than the Jets are trying to win now. And Hendon Hooker or any other quarterback doesn't help them win now. Aaron Rodgers does, and an offensive lineman in front of him does, and that is the only thing the Jets should consider doing with that pick.
We'll get back to some of the Jets and the quarterback and the Rodgers stuff with Mike Greenberg here in a moment. But Got Your Number, the greatest sports legends and the numbers they own book that releases today. And by the way, it's available on Disney Books, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and more, where you can get this latest book from Mike Greenberg. In part, Rodgers and his number 12 is somewhat of an inspiration for the book, it sounds like, Greeny.
100%. So we were sitting around one day. We're just a bunch of sports nerds on the Get Up show. And there was a day that we made the observation, because this is the kind of thing that is interesting to us, how many Hall of Fame quarterbacks all wore the jersey number 12? Joe Namath, Roger Staubach, Terry Bradshaw, Ken Stabler, Bob Greasy, Jim Kelly, and soon-to-be Rodgers and Tom Brady. And someone in the room said to me, yeah, Greeny, they all wore the number 12, but who owns the number 12? And literally, it was like a light bulb went off over my head. And I started this conversation by mentioning that I've never written a sports book, and the reason is simple. I never had a good enough idea. But this all of a sudden seemed like a good enough idea. So I hired Hembo, who's been doing my research for more than 10 years, and he did an unbelievable job. And so we chose the 100 athletes who own these numbers, every number from 1 to 100. He did incredible research, and I promise all of you, anyone listening to my voice right now, that you will at least 100 times if you read this book, because each chapter is a short write-up of the person that we chose, 500 words, so like 2 to 3 pages each. So you can sit down anytime you want, read 2 or 3 of them, and then get back around your business. That at least once per chapter you will say, wow, I did not know that, no matter how well you think you know the athlete that we're writing about. So it is a combination of sports debate, because we make these decisions, and sports history, because we tell you things about these athletes you didn't already know. So, yes, Rodgers was indirectly one of the inspirations. And I think the folks in Jacksonville, might be interested to know who number 15 is. Who do you guys think got 15 in the book?
Yeah, well, in the conversation certainly could be Tim Tebow.
So here's what happened. I will fully admit that if we wrote the book today, I would give that number to Patrick Mahomes.
Huh.
But the way a book works is you have to write it, and then you have to submit it, and then it takes almost a year until it comes out. And a year ago, when we wrote this book, choosing Patrick Mahomes would have been premature. There are 2 athletes that if we could write the book today would make it that are not in it. One of them is Mahomes, and another one is Aaron Judge for the 62 home runs. Because we did not use Mahomes, we did choose Tim Tebow, because I wanted to include college athletes. And Tim Tebow's very complicated NFL career, I think, has at times obscured the fact that, as I write in the book, you could make a very good argument that he's the greatest college quarterback that ever lived.
All time.
And there are statistics in this book that I'm guessing that even the most passionate Gator fans may not know. He remains the owner of the most Heisman votes of any quarterback ever. No quarterback ever got more Heisman votes over the course of their career than Tim Tebow did. His 145 career touchdowns remain an SEC record to this day. His 23 rushing touchdowns during his Heisman season, record-setting, more than Herschel Walker, Bo Jackson, or Emmitt Smith ever had in any season. That's the kind of stat that we have here, and so I know this is a controversial choice. and people have given me a little bit of a hard time about it, but I will defend it 100%. This is not about Tebow and Denver. This is not about Tebow and the Jets. This is not about how big a deal down in my made, at my network or anywhere else like it, made about Tim Tebow as a pro. This is about Tebow's career at Florida, and it is absolutely worthy, in my opinion, of him owning that number.
Mike Greenberg with us. The book's called Got Your Number, The Greatest Sports Legends and Numbers They Own. And this is fascinating for me because I would think there are two super obvious ones, and you just brought up the name Aaron Judge, and you don't even have to give it away, but 99, I mean, I go to Wayne Gretzky. 23 is obviously Michael Jordan. I mean, are there any competitors outside of Aaron Judge to those two guys?
No, Judge would have been 62. I wouldn't have given him the jersey number. There was no debate over 99. Okay. But we gave – so not all the numbers – so, for example, not all – in fact, most of the numbers are not – well, no, not most. More than half of them are jersey numbers. But almost half of them are not. And here's the reason why, guys. Because when we sat down, Hembo and I, the first day to start putting this together, in my head I was thinking they would just be jersey numbers. And then I realized we're about to write a book about the greatest legends in sports history that doesn't include Muhammad Ali or Tiger Woods or Jack Nicklaus or Serena Williams or – any of these other Michael Phelps, these other great athletes that did not have jersey numbers attached to them. So we came up with other numbers that we thought represented them. For example, Wilt Chamberlain spent his entire career wearing the jersey number 13 in the NBA, but that's not the number he owns in this book. Can you guess what number he has?
Yeah, that'd be 100, yeah.
He has the number 100 because that's the number that I associate with Chamberlain, I think even more than his jersey number. So that's what we did there. So Judge would have been 62. But, of course, he hadn't hit 62 home runs when we had to submit the book. No, there were some that required no discussion. 3 required no discussion. 12 didn't require much discussion. 23, 42, 99. While we were writing the book, actually, the NBA retired the number 6 across the sport. And Bill Russell would have had that number anyway, but that was another one that was obvious to us. So there were some about which there was no debate, but that's my point. Even those where you know who the number is going to be owned by, you will find things out about these legends that you absolutely will not have known before.
Greeny, when you were debating who owns which number, would the player's popularity or fame play more of a role than the actual merit of the statistic, if it was a statistic versus a jersey number? I'm thinking about popular numbers, like the number 7, for instance, where you could probably find a bunch of people who wore number 7 who are great. But when I think 7, I think Nolan Ryan and 7 no-hitters.
So here's what I write in the book. I will read it to you verbatim. I am choosing these numbers based on the criteria I deem most important. There are many and varied ways in which we can define greatness in sports, and I plan to take them all into consideration. These include, but are not limited to, accomplishment, physical talent, mental toughness, game intelligence, courage, clutchness, impact on the sport, impact on society, iconic moments, sportsmanship, citizenship, and joy. So I made the choices based upon however I felt it should be. I'll give you guys an example. 21 was a brutally tough number. 21 is Deion Sanders. 21 is Tim Duncan. 21 is Roberto Clemente.
Wow.
Who would you have chosen? If this was your book, who would it be?
I mean, if it's my personal book, I would go Duncan, then Clemente. But I'm not sure that's what you did.
I think I might go Clemente.
So we chose Roberto Clemente, and I will tell you why. Because I decided that if you were just going to try and gauge their athletic careers one against the next, there was really not enough difference to split between them. You can't be a whole lot better basketball player than Duncan was. You can't be a whole lot better football player than Sanders was. And you can't be a whole lot better player than Clemente was. And so then I went to, with no disrespect to either Sanders or Tim Duncan, Roberto Clemente is one of the, at minimum 10, maybe 5 most important people ever to play in Major League Baseball.
That's a good point.
The citizenship award in that sport, the humanitarian award, baseball's equivalent of the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, is called the Roberto Clemente Award. And so that was what separated it for me. I think he made a greater impact in his career on his sport than either of the other two did, based on a variety of circumstances. And I didn't think, while I think if I had to pick one of them who was the greatest player, I would pick Duncan, it would be by an eyelash. And I thought it wasn't enough to tilt the importance of Clemente's career and his life.
Got your number, the greatest sports legends and the numbers they own. Mike Greenberg, the author. The book's available now on Disney Books, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and more. It releases today. I'm sure you're doing a bunch of these interviews. Do you have a few minutes for our lightning round, Greeny?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, let's real quick on the sports topics. Is Rodgers the best quarterback since Namath or even better than Namath once he joins the Jets?
No, he's definitely – I mean, his career is better than Namath. It's not even close. What he's going to be right now, I guess, remains to be seen. I don't think he has to be the Aaron Rodgers of 2010 or 2011 or even the Aaron Rodgers of 2021 for the Jets to have a shot to do special things this year. The Jets are a really talented roster. Anything is a step up from what we had a year ago. But the answer directly to your question is he'll never be the greatest quarterback the Jets ever had. Namath will always be or certainly until someone comes along and plays an entire career as a Jet, Namath will always be the most beloved and greatest of the Jets. But Rodgers, if you look at his career, there's no comparison. Rodgers is probably a top 6 or 7 quarterback of all time, and Namath, while he's my favorite player ever, is certainly not that.
From a fandom standpoint, you would think the Jets and the Jags will be intertwined for a long time. The Jets win that game. The Jags get the number 1 overall pick. They get Trevor Lawrence. The Jets pick Zach Wilson. Will history tell us that, you think, some 20, 25, 35 years down the road, that this was a poignant moment, that these two will always be linked in?
Is that a serious question?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need.
Well, because Rodgers could wash that away.
Years.
No, he can't.
You don't have to wait 25 years for that. I can answer that question right now. Hell yes. Trevor Lawrence is going to be a great quarterback. How great, I suppose, remains to be seen. But obviously, there's nothing about that we've seen from him that doesn't suggest that he is on the verge of superstardom if he hasn't already reached it. And Zach Wilson has a real chance to be the worst pick ever.
All time.
I mean, he's in the neighborhood with Ryan Leaf and Jamarcus Russell. The only thing he has over them is that I guess the story isn't fully written and he has some chance to recover. But there are no words to describe how brutal that is. The one that I think is going to bother the Jet fan, yes, we won that game and that was awful, and so the Jags were able to draft Lawrence. The one that's going to bother the Jet fans is if Justin Fields winds up being great, because the Jets didn't have the option of choosing Trevor Lawrence. They did have the option of choosing Justin Fields. If he winds up being great, I think that's the one you really compare it to, because that's the one we legitimately let get away.
Greeny, I'm sunshine and rainbows down here, by the way. Here's the way I'm thinking about it from the Jets, and this is why I'm not sure it lingers as long as maybe some people do. If you end up with Aaron Rodgers and he does great things this year, then you ended up with Aaron Rodgers at the end of the day. But that might not be a bad thing.
But you're going to watch Trevor Lawrence take the Jags deep into the playoffs for the next 15 years. Every time you're looking at that going, come on, guys. Zach Wilson.
Yeah. If the Jets win a Super Bowl or even get very close with Rodgers, and obviously that'll be fabulous, but it will never undo, the one that got away. The Jets drafted a quarterback one spot after Brett Favre, too. The Jets drafted Browning Nagel in the second round that year, one spot behind Brett Favre. They drafted Ken O'Brien 3 spots ahead of Dan Marino. So the Jets have a history of terrible picks. I mean, they drafted a quarterback 5 rounds ahead of Tom Brady. So, the Jets have a history of really bad quarterback moves. This one, candidly, probably will wind up being the worst.
Mike Greenberg, you got another one for him?
I was going to ask him if he believes Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas, when they talk about Zach Wilson still being a part of the plan, or are they just trying to get some value back for the number 2 pick at some point?
There's zero value. I mean, you couldn't trade him right now for literally anything. I don't think any team, if the Jets outright released him, I guess someone would pick him up. But I'm not even sure of that. So there is no value. I think if you're Joe Douglas, this is a huge embarrassment. He's the GM of the Jets, for the listeners in Jacksonville who don't know who that is. And the sad thing here is that he has otherwise done an unbelievably good job. His drafts have been exceptional. His draft last year, I think, is one of the really great drafts we've seen in recent NFL memory. But when you miss that badly on a quarterback, when you draft a quarterback number 2 overall, and a year and a half later you literally can't put him on the field or risk a mutiny in your locker room, then that's a tough one to get past. And I understand him not wanting to acknowledge this. It's a tough thing to admit. And look, if you're the Jets, he's on your team. You might as well continue to put whatever energy you reasonably can into trying to figure him out. But I think in their heart of hearts, both of those guys know that Aaron Rodgers is going to be the Jets' next quarterback, and after him, it's going to be someone else. I don't know who, but it is. I would bet you anything you had that it will not be Zach Wilson.
The brand new book released today is called Gut Your Number, The Greatest Sports Legends and the Numbers They Own. Mike Greenberg, congratulations, man, on the book. Thanks for taking a few minutes, and glad to hear and see that you're feeling better as well.
That's nice of you to say. I'm very grateful to everybody who sent me all those nice notes when I was out for a week, and I'm feeling great, and I should be feeling much better. Thank you very much for your interest in the book. I don't remember the last time I was more excited about any project I've been involved in than I am with this.
I'm fascinated by it. We'll take a look, and hopefully everybody else does too. Have a good one, man.
Thanks, guys.
That is Mike Greenberg. You know him as Greeny, by the way, from Get Up and NBA Countdown. Gut Your Number, The Greatest Sports Legends and the Numbers They Own. Paul Himbo as well helping out. He did a bunch of the research on the book as well. So really fascinating when he brought up some of the topics. I was asking Kasey, how do you interpret the book? And so we were having a little bit of mixed reaction of the interpretation of what it was going to be like. And then obviously Greeny spelled it out for us. But it answered our question, Kasey, right? I mean, the whole, like the Aaron Judge one specifically, I was like, okay, he's going to put him in the 99 category. And then he told us all about, okay, could be milestone or numbers. And really cool. I like the concept.
I do too. I might actually read the book. I don't read much. You know what I'm saying, guys? Not much of a reader around here.
I like how I read none has moved to I don't read much right after the Greenberg interview.
Yeah.
I should have asked him if he has an audio version.
Wow, that'd be perfect, actually. Yeah.
But you can find out. The book's available at Disney Books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble as well. I bet there are some fantastic debates. I mean, the one he brought up about 21. You know what I was thinking with 21? I think I said it. I'm not sure if everybody heard it, but I said Roger Clemens.
Oh,
in my world, Roger Clemens 21.
Sure.
As a Red Sox fan, you know?
More than
and
prime, yeah.
And, of course, everybody else will value certain people or numbers or milestones differently based on their fandom.
True.
I also think the one, and we couldn't get it, I'm sure we kept them too long anyway. I think one of the most fascinating things about Mike Greenberg is the national guys don't showcase their fandom. They really don't. It's almost like taboo to do it.
Well, because you're supposed to be a journalist.
Yeah, but I think it's cool that he's done it. It's part of him. When he comes on shows, you ask him about the Jets.
Yes.
Right? Like he almost owns part of the team.
He almost hit Damian Woody in the face this morning.
It's very unique, though, you know? I mean, can you think about another national guy outside of a player that's played?
Nick Wright.
Fox guy?
Yeah.
Who's he like?
Chiefs.
Okay.
Oh, he talks a lot about Trevor Lawrence, though. He's a big Trevor Lawrence
fan.
fan.
Loves
He is a
Lawrence.
big Trevor Lawrence guy.
But that's the only, I know I had that, sitting ready to go, but,
that was
I like Nick Wright, so, I watch his stuff. But other than that, nothing comes to mind.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's old school not okay. I think it's okay. I think we see that a lot in our local media. Again, I'm not a fan of much anymore other than, the Red Sox, and we don't talk about that. So I'm a little different. I'm an outlier, but I think it's cool. It's kind of helped the persona of Mike Greenberg, and he's a talented guy to begin with.
Hey,
we'll
Glenn in the chat says Calvin Ridley is going to be the owner in Greeny's book of the number 0.
There we go. Well, it starts with 1, ends at 100, but we might have to make an exception or an addendum or whatever you do in a book. I don't know. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
A very warm day today under partly sunny skies, the high 88. Down into the mid-60s tonight and partly sunny and hot tomorrow, your Wednesday high around 90. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Now get 0% interest for 5 years with nothing down.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine. If you've been hurt in a car crash, we'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. Main office, Jacksonville.
Hope you had a nice weekend and off to a good start to your work week. Mowed the lawn maybe on the weekend, did some things around the house. Well, I was moving some furniture this weekend. No problem, right? Until you feel it in the back and the hip and the shoulders and the knees. If this is you and has been you dealing with joint pain, QC Kinetics can help. QC Kinetics is helping so many people here in the Jacksonville area get lasting relief from joint pain without surgery, without drugs. They've got 2 clinics now in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, and the patient satisfaction reports are amazing. And now they've taken it to a new level with a new medical director, Dr. Peter Atch. He's a renowned triple board certified medical doctor with decades of experience. So if you're tired of living with pain in your back, hip, shoulder, or knees, don't let anyone tell you surgery is your only option. You can get a free consultation with QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, 904-274-5522. The science behind it is simple. Get a free consultation to learn more about it with QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Kinetico softener and drinking water system. Kinetico's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Kinetico K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Kinetico Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Kinetico dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Rich Jones here. Investing can be more about just filling a bank account. It's about having a secure retirement, protecting your family. Let DLP Capital help you to protect your why. Here's CEO and founder Don Wenner.
I started DLP Capital with an expectation that I could provide my family, my investors, my team members, and the families of my investors with awesome returns, limited volatility, and no losses, all while providing desperately needed affordable housing to the American workforce.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial ** invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Do you feel a calling to help others? You can change a local child's life by becoming a foster parent through Daniel. You'll receive training, 24/7 support, and compensation to cover the cost for the child's needs and your time. To qualify, you must be over 21, pass a background check, receive training, and have a caring heart. Foster parent classes are starting soon, so please call Daniel at 296-1055. That's 296-1055, or visit danielkids.org.
Yes, we do have availability. Those dates for how many guests?
Andrea's Boutique Hotel is the destination to tie the knot.
Oh, you want the whole property?
She needs an assistant to catch the bookings bouquets.
249 guests, huh? Oh, and 3 dogs.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
In business, everything your employees do impacts your brand, including what they wear. Cintas has high-performance workplace apparel for almost every job imaginable. From work shirts and pants, to polos and khakis, to Oxfords or T-shirts, these clothes move, breathe, and look great. Your team gets the styles they like, you convey the image you want. And Cintas service includes weekly laundry and delivery. To learn more, visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
If you missed any of our conversation with Mike Greenberg, always go back and listen on the podcast on Action Sports Jacks YouTube channel as well. And, well, you can really go back and watch on Facebook and YouTube. Can you go back and watch on Twitch?
Yes.
Any of these
days.
video platforms, you can pause it live, go back and watch if that's what you choose to do. But
You are
Greeny
so old.
actually reached out to me, gave me 2 numbers he added to the book in the commercial break if you want to hear them. I got the number 94. That's what Kasey claims he used to throw at a fastball, but now it's the amount of times I have to text him before he answers me back.
That's a good number.
And then the number 2, which, Brent, is the number of former co-hosts you're going to have if you keep bringing up Zach Wilson to me.
By the way, that would be 3.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Oh, I thought it was a package deal. Kasey was going to.
Oh, well,
I'll go.
Kasey's looking for any excuse.
I'll go.
Casey's like, what? It's raining? I'm out of here.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I'll be free.
I love Zach Wilson. Stop talking bad about him. That was funny. That's Greeny was good on the Jet stuff.
He kind of yelled at you, Brent.
He did.
That was awesome.
Do you remember that?
He yelled at Damian Woody.
He did.
A lot more.
He threatened to hit him in the face.
I don't know. He said, "Is that a serious question, Brent?" And you got kind of mad about it. Like that was.
I think the funny part about
golden.
the clip for anyone who sees it on Twitter is the fact that Greeny is like, what, 5'5", 5'6", and he stands up during this freak out, and Damian Woody, who's like a mountain of a man, is sitting in this chair just sipping a glass of tea, and he still towers over Greeny while he's seated.
By the way, I think he's a lot taller than that. I just think that's how big Damian Woody is.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think he's a smaller guy.
He looked small right next to Damian, but you might be right about that.
Think about it. He's always been around like Mike and Golick, you know.
All these athletes.
And then all these football guys. So
yeah.
He probably comes. But my
5'11"? What?
Yeah. I thought he was more close to 6 feet.
You besmirched the heck out of that.
Really
man.
You did.
He's
You really
taller
did.
than
So
me.
that's why I had Kasey. I was trying my best in a nice way to rescue that.
And instead, you got yelled at. Ain't that something? Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
I don't mind getting yelled at, by the way. I still actually wonder that. I mean, is it bad if you end up with Aaron Rodgers and he wins a Super Bowl for you?
It's not bad. It's just it doesn't erase the Trevor Lawrence thing.
But what if Trevor doesn't win one?
Well, the other part of it is who knew? Greeny has to think, and in this case he does, that Trevor's going to be great.
Yeah. Well,
but
like
his point about Justin Fields was really right on. I mean, that is true. Like
and
they had other options.
Most Jet fans wanted Justin Fields. I was one of them. Wanted Justin Fields in that draft. So he's definitely right about Justin Fields, but it doesn't erase the fact that it feels like we could have had Trevor Lawrence, and then they jetsed it up.
But just to circle back to this, if Aaron wins one and Trevor does not, what is the consensus?
That I would have rather have had Trevor for 15 to 20 years.
Okay.
Or 15 years.
I think that's a lie.
Okay, you're out of your mind.
I'm telling you right now, 15 years of Trevor, no Super Bowl, long playoff run. For me, not for Jet fans everywhere, but for me, way better than 1 year of Aaron Rodgers' rental winning the Super Bowl.
Okay. That is the worst take anybody's ever had on
I'll tell you why. Because after this season, the party is over. Party's over. You got to start over again. And by the way, you're at the end of those rookie deals that make it possible.
But I'm telling you that the party's never coming. You never get a parade with Trevor. You get one with Aaron Rodgers.
But you don't know that when you agree to this. When you take on Trevor, yeah, maybe it doesn't happen in the 15 years, but every year you're like, it could happen this year.
Okay.
You'll see. You're a Jags fan. You'll see it every year here.
I get it, but that's a wild thing.
That is a wild thing.
I mean,
and by the way, that's why my question wasn't a bad question.
It's an awful question.
I mean, he really yelled at you.
It was an awful question.
Trevor for 15 years and no Super Bowl, or Aaron Rodgers for 2 years
and
a Super Bowl?
1 year and a Super Bowl.
Come on.
Let's get real.
And
1
you're
year and a
picking
Super
Trevor.
Bowl. Yes.
I'm going to be honest.
Only because you don't know you're not getting the Super Bowl with Trevor. Do I know ahead of time? Like, what's the point?
I just told you ahead of time, dude, and you still went with Trevor. That's why we're so confused by this.
He just told you ahead of time that you are going to win a Super Bowl. Now, what you don't know is in 15 years, when you even have less here than you already do, like, you will look back, and Trevor will have played 15 years, and he's given you all these great moments, but, he's Dan Marino, and he doesn't win a Super Bowl. But Aaron Rodgers, that 1 year, if he had come, he would have won the Super Bowl.
I want you to ask every Ravens fan ever if they would rather Trent Dilfer or Dan Marino. You'd want Dan Marino. You would. You would want Dan Marino outside of knowing that he wasn't going to win a Super Bowl. Like, you can't tell the future. But at the end of those 15 years, they'd look back and be like, it was a great ride, Dan. Thank you very much.
But we don't have any replica trophies on our shelf.
We don't.
I think your scenario is a decent one, though. Well, and it hits me in the heartstrings.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Dan.
Just a little bit. Yeah, so, when Greeny mentioned Dan, I thought you were going to start sweating extra heavy.
Here's the thing. Like, I might be in the minority here, But if the Jags could win the Super Bowl with like any random bum and they didn't have Trevor, I would take the one Super Bowl over 15 whatevers, nothings.
So you're willing for heartache and heartbreak for 14 seasons
to get a Super Bowl.
To get the one rental?
Yes.
And it's not the same with Trevor because you drafted Trevor. But imagine doing it with, take your pick, Jimmy Garoppolo on the way out.
I'd get plenty of Jimmy G jerseys. One in teal,
see,
one in black, and one in white.
Here's the moral of this story for Kasey. He wishes he was a Miami Marlins fan rather than a Rays fan.
It sounds like it.
Pretty much.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, like, is it that hard? Like, I just want my team to win something and me see it. You know
but
what I'm saying?
Isn't that like the answer, though? Like, the Rays have been really good now, and the Marlins win one and tear it down and then stink forever.
Every 7 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's the
Sorry,
point,
Jumbo
right? If
Shrimp
you're a
people, I hope
Marlins
there's no
fan.
execs here.
No, they get it.
I totally forgot about that. But if you're a Marlins fan, right, and you're growing up with this team, you're not following guys through their career. You're following them for 2 years until they get thrown off the team. When you're a Rays fan, you're following guys through their careers until the Rays are they're a bad example.
Right. Well, they do it anyway. But, like, okay, great. I would rather wear 2-time World Series champion shirt than Evan Longoria's shirt.
See, for me, I'd rather have guys who are on my team, not the guy who came for a couple of weeks because we looked good in the window that year.
That makes him more of a legend.
Now, what makes this different kind of conversation for you, Aaron, is you don't have Trevor Lawrence or anybody that could lead it for 15 years.
Or decision-making ability for the franchise.
I think people – I'm not sure more people will – I think more people will side with Kasey on this.
I think they would,
I
too.
understand your thinking, though, Aaron.
It's just not fun.
Pause.
It's not fun.
Yeah, it makes me pause. Like, listen, the last 2 years with Trevor already, have been good. And they haven't won a Super Bowl. In 1 year, they weren't really good at all.
Right. Pretty awful, actually.
Yeah, pretty bad.
They got the first pick in the draft.
But, the excitement, the hope, Kasey, right? Part of being a fan is the hope that every year that guy trots out there, we've got a chance. Every year in Miami, Dan Marino took the field in September. The Dolphins had a chance to win a Super Bowl, it felt like.
Until December.
It wasn't far-fetched.
Didn't take the field in February.
Until December. But to Brent's point, you're right, Brent. That is, at least for Jets fans, the biggest part of the season. The hope before the season starts. That's where we all congress and talk about, this will be the year finally. It's the only part of the season that's great for Jets fans.
Yeah, not the day to mention Congress. By the way, Josh Wells comes back to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have signed him. Remember him?
Really?
Yeah.
Offensive line.
Is that real?
Swing tackle.
Getting a little depth going.
Hey, that's not a bad. Now, I don't know how Josh Wells has been playing lately. He's been with Tampa, right?
That's what I thought. I think it was Tampa.
And he was hung on this roster for a long time in Jacksonville. Now he's been in the league, gosh, I got to believe over a decade. And I just saw it on Twitter. I haven't looked it up, but I would assume swing tackle potential. And they were bringing in
guy from the Broncos.
The Broncos, and didn't somebody say they had their eyes on who was the other guy, big name guy that was out there working out, and the Jags had interest in? Shoot, I'll find it. I'll get it to you. Speaking of Jags interest, well, some people think the Jags would have interest in this mock draft. What do you got with a Todd McShay draft 4.0? I saw Todd last week in Gainesville.
Oh,
Didn't
good.
chase him down in the car.
Dang.
Didn't he?
Did he remember
bother
you?
him
Like,
this
are
time
you the
around?
crazy guy that chased me down at Clemson?
I even tweeted at him, see if he would remember. He didn't respond.
Just waving at him like some goofball from the stands. Hi, Todd.
Hey, Todd, remember me, man? Remember Clemson? Flagged you down. I told you the best part about that story, and good on him, is like he had to drive around like this other side of the building, so we lost him in our vision, and he still came over to where we were to do the interview.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Good guy.
He could have easily escaped out the back door, and he didn't. I'll tell you what else. You know what? I'm going to give you a good guy Doug Peterson story.
Oh.
So when we were in Gainesville, only one's there, Doug, we were talking to him.
Don't get me started again.
Right? We were talking to him. And I was like, Doug, you got a few minutes? It's like, what are you going to talk about? It's like, I'm not, you don't need me. I was like, Doug, we're the only ones from Jacksonville. It's like, my bosses see this, and you're here, and I can't get you. I mean, come on, baby. I need you for a couple minutes. So anyway, he kind of goes, I was like, three questions. He said, 2. I was like, 3. All right, whatever. We'll see. So now he's down at the other end as this thing's wrapping up. And good on Doug Peterson, instead of going out that door, doesn't see Brent, he waits and he's looking for Brent.
How about that?
How nice is that of Doug Peterson?
Probably owed him $5 or something.
Now, in theory, couldn't you have just ran around?
Like, I would have chased him down.
Like, I'm familiar with the Gators Pro Day setup. I know everybody comes out the same way.
No, there are a couple of different ways to go out there. And we're on opposite ends because you don't know when the Pro Day's ending. And so this is you really don't. Like, they don't say, like, okay, this is the last throw, And I didn't know how quick they would scoot. Listen, they're not talking to Anthony Richardson, right? I mean, we know they're not looking at him.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was really cool of Doug, who threw the first pitch out last year here at the Jumbo Shrimp. Maybe he'll be the special guest.
Oh, maybe it's a hint.
No, it really isn't. He's not throwing out the first pitch.
Okay.
But
It might be
I just
a
thought that
hint,
was pretty
though.
cool that he waited. Did a couple, and by the way, I got 3 questions.
Congrats.
How many questions did the competition get?
None.
Oh, weird. The whiff.
Anyway,
the donut.
That's my good guy Doug story today here on a Tuesday on Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Now take us to the Todd McShay mock draft real quick.
Well,
what has he got?
McShay's got predictions for 2 rounds as opposed to just 1. That's how you know we're starting to get close, fellas. Right away, obviously at the top, he's got pretty stable relative to other drafts. You got C.J. Stroud to the Panthers. You got Bryce Young to the Texans. But then at number 3, where you would expect to see the Arizona Cardinals, with everybody mocking Will Anderson to him, you don't. You see, the Colts have traded with the Cardinals in this mock draft, according to McShay. McShay says the Colts are not taking any chances. They need to move up and get their guy. And fellas, according to McShay, their guy is AR-15 Anthony Richardson. Thoughts on that pick?
Well, we know the risk is reward there. I'm to the point where we've had this conversation over the last 2 months, guys, but I know what's going to happen. I mean, he's a top 10 guy, probably a top 5 guy, so this stuff's not surprising.
Because I've seen now in the last couple of days 2 different mocks that aren't ESPN. One from the Warren Sharp group, football analytics group. That's McChrystal, the guy you guys love.
Oh, McChrystal.
He had Anthony Richardson outside the top 10, in the top 20, Will Levis outside the top 20. I thought that was wild. And then I saw another draft that had Richardson falling a little bit. Only 3 quarterbacks in the first round, with Richardson going really late. But in this draft, you got Richardson at 3 to the Colts. The Cardinals then moving down to 4, and obviously getting some picks for it, taking Will Anderson, the guy who they would have taken at 3. Here's what I'm saying. Whoever is into Will Levis, there's going to be action at number 4. Cardinals should try to do the double dip if this happens.
Yeah, that would be great for them.
They'd make a huge haul, which they need. But Will Anderson to the Cardinals. Here come the Seahawks at 5, finally taking Jalen Carter off the board. 2nd defensive player off the board. 5th player overall off the board. The Lions, Tyree Wilson. The Raiders, who a lot of people expect to take a quarterback, and Will Levis, do not in this mock. They take Devin Witherspoon corner, and it actually starts a mini run on corner with Christian Gonzalez going to the Falcons after that. The Bears take the tackle/guard, Peter Skoronski, and then the Eagles rounding out the top 10 with Lucas Van Ness. You got the Titans at 11, staying with the AFC South, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I thought this was an interesting pick, guys. This would make 2 years in a row that the Titans are taking a wide receiver in the top 20, but they don't have quarterback figured out. Someone explain this to me.
Yeah, they're trying to catch it. They're doing what the Jags did, those couple years ago when they lost Ramsey and Yannick Ngakoue. They're trying to chase him down now in the draft. And that's what it seems like the Titans would be doing in this scenario, is they're chasing down the A.J. Brown mistake.
Oh, yeah. Totally. But I love Jackson Smith and Jigba. I kind of hope he's there when the Jets pick, even though I know they won't take him. That's fine. But whoever he goes to, I think he's going to be a beast. 12, you got the Texans with their 2nd pick in the first round. Nolan Smith, linebacker from Georgia. This dude's dangerous now. Number 13.
Nolan Smith could be interesting.
Yeah. 13, the Jets, Paris Johnson. A lot of people have them taking an offensive lineman. Then he got another trade. McShay projects in this mock. He's got the Bucks trading up for a quarterback. This is where he's got Will Levis going, number 14. Do you think he makes it out of the top 10?
I kind of do. I do think so.
You're buying.
Not me.
You think he's in the top 10? You think he's going to Raiders?
4 in the first 5.
Interesting. So you think more trades to come? Or do you think one of them is going to Seattle?
I think Richardson will go to Seattle if he's there. And then I just think that somehow, some way, we're getting 4 quarterbacks in the first 5 picks. Someone will get desperate.
Fast forward through the draft, you do have your 5th quarterback in the first round taken in McShay's mock here at 23 to the Vikings. They are hot to trot on Hendon Hooker. Lots and lots of rumors between the Vikings and Hendon Hooker right now. You got Kirk Cousins going to be age 35 this coming season. His contract is up after the year. A lot of people saying it's a perfect landing spot for a guy like Hooker who may need a year to recover from his injury and maybe learn a little bit under primetime Kirk. Jaguars at 24, they pick Dalton Kincaid.
Tight end.
Not only did they pick tight end Dalton Kincaid, they picked him over in this mock Michael Mayer, who was available. Thoughts there?
Yeah. Pick your poison, I guess, whoever you like. I just don't see the situation that has unveiled itself, the Jags going tight end, although I think you can make a case that it's their only real impact need on their roster on offense. Again, they just signed Josh Wells. They've got some depth on offensive line. They'll draft another offensive lineman.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me about a tight end, like, again, I'm just going off what I saw last year, right? Young tight end coming in as a number 2 tight end, let's just assume, doesn't do much in this offense as a number 2 tight end.
Yeah, there's
in terms of production.
Not a lot of targets to go around right now.
But this is, okay, give us some production, give us some insurance for this year in case there's an Evan Ingram injury, but it's also a look at the future potentially, and this is why it does make some sense if you can get a tight end you really like, because right now it's just a 1-year deal for Evan Ingram here in Jacksonville.
I'm just sitting here looking at McShay's draft going, if this was the real thing, this would really confuse me. If you go tight end, fine. You can convince me of that. I actually like that move, going tight end. I think you do need a plan B with the Evan Ingram situation, but if you're good, to your point, a second tight end in the offense won't see a lot of targets. Mayer is the better blocker. You need the run blocking to help Travis Etienne. You know Mayer can play offense as well. Why then go to the seam stretcher in Dalton Kincaid as opposed to the all-around better tight end in Michael Mayer? That would be my only question there.
Well, Mayer might be a better, like, with his skill set, let's just say, and I don't know this, I'm just trying to see what their board could be or what the analysis could be on these tight ends. Maybe he's a better, like, mid-second round guy where the seam stretcher tight end in today's day and age in the NFL is more valuable.
Yeah, maybe.
That's more of the first-round guy.
Sure.
All right, we're going to take a break. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. I'm going to go get a little batting practice. I'll give you guys a live look in potentially on the feeds on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. And then we'll hit the top of the hour soon with Football at 5 on ESPN 690.
You ready? Then get set and go to the Ready, Set, Go event, even on pre-owned at Arlington Toyota. That's all makes, all models, all colors, shapes, and sizes, all specially priced during the Ready, Set, Go event at Arlington Pre-Owned. Plus, our friends over at Arlington give you 30 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it. With over 400 pre-owned on the lot, you better get Ready, Set, Go to Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? One-to-One Financial, we're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at one-to-one-fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
We're recording this Progressive commercial on a real boat to let people know that when you bundle your home, boat, and other vehicles...
What was that, Flo?
Progressive saves you money, Jamie.
Why are we doing this on a boat?
We were going for authenticity.
We're going to the city?
Authenticity.
You mean Atlantic City? But we're not in the Atlantic. Are we?
Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is everything.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
I'm Tracy Phillips, owner of Promotional Presence and Jack's Chamber member, volunteer facilitator, and on the advisory board for the JWBC. I've learned firsthand from the courses and education offered by the JWBC that the connections and resources provide an environment for entrepreneurs to network and prosper alongside each other. Learn how to get involved and support North Florida women's business owners by visiting jackswbc.com.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine offers a tuition-free educational program to prepare the child for a lifetime of success. FSDB offers free comprehensive education, transportation, and boarding services at no cost to all eligible deaf or blind students, elementary through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. Call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org to learn more.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Morneau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Welcome back to the Brent Friends radio show, ESPN 690. I am Aaron Schachter, and with me, as per usual, the Red Menace, Kasey Kurtz, Master of Disaster, the Boy of the Buttons. I don't have any other names for you,
Okay,
Case.
I just didn't want to cut you off.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Hey, did you see Travis Kelce's throwing a music festival?
No.
This is actually a borrowed idea.
Yes, it is.
Don't be giving Kelce any credit for coming up with this on his own.
Yeah.
But I guess Travis Kelce, he's decided he's going to throw a music festival next month when the draft comes to Kansas City.
I get it.
He's calling it Kelce Jam.
That's it. Though I mean, that's his city. Those are his people. You know
Okay,
what I'm
but like,
He
you got to
feels like a
believe
good host.
You got to believe he's got a team around him, right? And the best they're coming up with is Kelce Jam. Really, Kelce Jam?
Yeah, I kind of hate Kelce Jam as
Of
well.
course, it's a terrible name.
It's really bad.
Lacks all kinds of creativity. Why not just put a Palooza on the end of it or something stupid?
Kelsey Palooza. That's better.
That just shows how bad you are at this too.
But it's better than Kelsey Jam.
Kelce Jam sounds like something gross you put on toast when you're on a diet.
Exactly.
Oh man, I'm on the Kelce diet. I had some Kelce Jam with this. It's oof. Anyway, Machine Gun Kelly, big name. Rick Ross, the boss.
He is the boss.
DJ Duo Loud Luxury.
I don't know what that means.
DJ Duo Loud Luxury? You don't know DJ Duo Loud Luxury?
Of course not.
And his massive hit, Bebop a Doobop?
No.
And then you got Kansas City rap legend. Not just Kansas City rap legend, but the dude is a legend in rap in general. Tech Nine.
Yeah, familiar.
Tech Nine's dope.
Yeah.
Man, Kelce Jam sounds like it's going to be a bustaroo, if you ask me. The only thing Kelce Jam's got going for it is the fact that you already have all these people out there for the draft. It's like a built-in event. He actually said he was inspired to host his own music festival after he went to Rob Gronkowski's Gronk Beach during the NFL draft in Vegas last year. And by the way, Gronk Beach, another lame name.
So what would you do?
Well, I wouldn't name it after me and what I was standing on. I wouldn't
that's fair.
I wouldn't call the great radio show I do the Schachter Radio. It's the Aaron Studio show.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, come up with something, guys.
Yeah.
You're multimillionaires here. You're going to make 7, 8, possibly 9 figures off of whatever it is you're going to do, depending on the deals you get from some of the companies that join along.
I know we have to break, but we said it, so we're going to do it. Who would you invite to the Schachterfest? The Shackarama.
Well, I'd have Manchester.
Schachterpalooza.
Schachterpalooza would be headlined by Manchester Orchestra for sure. But I might get Method Man up there, maybe a little Wu-Tang action. Redman, get all the boys up there.
Okay.
Get an ODB hologram up there too, just so you could pay respects. Rest in peace, sleep in power, ODB. Same with Biggie. Maybe do a whole hologram set. You got Biggie and ODB, and then out comes Whitney Houston.
This is awful.
It'd be the best concert you've ever been to, Case. Just because you were born after all those people passed away doesn't mean they weren't good.
So bad.
Who would you have at yours?
I'd have a little bit of everything. Go Luke Combs.
Luke Combs.
Go Green Day.
Kasey Fest.
J. Cole.
J. Cole at Kasey Fest. Not bad.
Big Sean.
Okay.
I need to bring it home with somebody.
Yeah, or else Kelsey Fest is going to do you up one.
No, Kelsey Fest is not going to do me up one.
How about Kenny Chesney?
Nah.
He thinks your tractor sexy, Casey. That's what I heard. I can't tell you for sure.
Oh, Adele. Got to bring it home.
I'd have Shania Twain. You could take it.
If I could have everybody, Adele.
Did you see Shania Twain the other night?
No, I know you did, dog.
Woo, buddy.
We got to go to break.
You could headline the Schachter Festival every day. Come on.
I'm glad you kept it with that. Let's go to break.
We'll be back in a little bit. Brent Friends Radio Show. We'll pause for a Sports Center. Tweets from around the NFL on the other side. It's ESPN 690.
If you're the victim of a car crash, never rush to settle with the insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Right now, American Window Products is offering the newest features in window technology with Ultra Dual Low E glass and insulated vinyl frames with magnet weather stripping on windows for an airtight seal to help reduce your energy usage, all at an affordable price. This exclusive offer is for a limited time, so act now to save big with 12 months zero interest financing. Schedule a free estimate at AmericanWindowProducts.com. American Window Products, the window professionals. Financing at time of sale for new orders only.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Leave high-rate credit cards behind with Community First Credit Union. Our Visa Signature credit card makes it easy to consolidate and save with fee-free balance transfers, great low rates, and 1.5% cash back on all purchases. So manage your money your way and just be yourself with Community First. Apply now at communityfirstfl.org. Community First Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8214. 904-664-8214. That's 904-664-8214.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
I'm Christine Lisi. Former Cardinals Vice President Terry McDonough is accusing team owner Michael Bidwell of gross misconduct in an arbitration claim to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. McDonough alleges Bidwell pressured he and then head coach Steve Wilkes to use a burner phone to secretly remain in communication with GM Steve Keim, who was serving a 5-game team-imposed suspension after being arrested for extreme DUI. McDonough says he still has the phone, which he says contains the evidence of the cheating scandal, as well as additional documentation. ESPN NFL analyst Ryan Clark.
It is a privilege to own an NFL team. It's not just about how much money you can accumulate because you are a shrewd businessman. You're supposed to represent the Shield at the highest level. As Adam says, if he can prove some of these things or all of these things through arbitration, I expect the NFL to deal with this in a stern way, but that has not been the history of the league.
The Cardinals deny the allegations, calling them outlandish. Iowa's Caitlin Clark won the 2023 Wooden Award as the nation's most outstanding college basketball player.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, their powerful hiring platform that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Kasey Kurtz.
Yo! Well, what are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
Get him!
Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom!
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio, ESPN 690.
Hey, football at 5 we go here on a Tuesday, and while we're talking football, we got the backdrop of baseball. Just checked out a little BP for the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. They finished it up. The Durham Bulls here in town as well for the week, and we've got a beauty of a day for opening day here at home for the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. They started the weekend at Gwinnett, a short series with Gwinnett, day off on Monday, and now the home opening series with the Durham Bulls. There's a carnival going on outside. The only reason I'm not out there, they have a DJ and a lot of music, so I thought it would be too loud. And then I'd be dancing a lot and didn't want to do that whole thing with Aaron and Kasey making some fun. So we came inside the quiet ballpark. Right
Do you
now.
dance?
It's open at 6 o'clock. I don't dance.
There's a 0% chance that Brent has rhythm.
Do you dance?
I went to dancing school, bro.
Did you? You know what? I should have guessed that. I should have guessed that, Kasey.
Yeah,
I
I'm with
feel
you.
like, was this your first or second marriage?
No, neither. I was a child.
Whoa.
I was
okay.
I was a child. My
child.
my mom was a single mom, so she went to dancing school and she didn't want to leave me at 6 years old alone at home.
Probably
Well,
good.
So then I was
very
going to
good
dancing
mom,
school until I was like 8 and old enough to say, "Hey, Mom, can we just play baseball at this point? Like, do I have to do ballet?" And she put me in baseball. But in my second marriage, Brent, because you're on the right track, I did do
Your current marriage.
in my current marriage.
Say that.
Second and current.
My
That's
hopeful-
why
my
does second
last
sound bad?
We did take.
It just sounds like there could be another one.
Well, look. We did take.
There's plenty of time left on the
There
clock.
is a lot of time left on the clock. Especially if you see my lineage, you know how much time is left on the clock.
Could be a pitch clock violation.
We took a tango class together
I knew it.
for like
I
6
just
weeks.
figured.
I
You know-
murdered it, bro.
Were you good?
I was amazing, of
No,
course.
you weren't.
I was amazing, Kasey.
Where's the video?
I'm an international dance champion on video. We can call my wife, ask her right now. In the Dominican Republic, I entered a dance contest and came in first. I have video of the whole thing. I won a bottle of Dominican gin.
Okay, then where's the video?
It's on my phone. I'll come in there and show you right now.
Come
We'll
in
put
here
it
and
on
show
the
me
stream.
right. Do it.
All right, I'm going to send it to myself. We can put it on the stream.
Do you still have the gin?
Yeah, actually, we do. It was like 10 years ago. I still have it. I'm going to find
So
this video.
you know how to tango?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. I come from rhythm, Brent.
No, you don't.
Brent dances around there like, Kasey, you guys got cement blocks on your feet.
I wouldn't. It's so funny. You said tango. You know what made tangoing cool is for me is Son of a Woman.
Oh yeah, Son of a Woman.
I would never even have heard of the dance, the tango,
Look, tango,
unless I saw Son of a Woman.
It's a very sensual dance.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Kasey wouldn't know nothing about that.
I don't know.
Out here like a
It's
caveman,
good.
just beating people over the head with a stick. It's like, Case, you got to seduce a person every once in a while. He doesn't know. He has no idea.
I'm not gonna lie to you here. Like,
oh boy,
I wish I could do it.
Take a class.
Yeah, take a class, bro.
yeah, nah, not going to work. Like, you guys aren't wrong. This dude's got no rhythm.
Okay. Good.
So, like, I'm like a lost hope.
Oh.
I can't – you could send me to class, whatever. It just wouldn't happen. I'm wondering if maybe that's something I can gather in my older age.
Oh. I think it gets
not.
harder as you get older.
Yeah, it feels like it would.
Does it?
It's gotta.
I don't know. Like, I feel like older guys are better at dancing.
Because back then
Why
it
do you
wasn't.
feel like that?
Well, I do think back in
maybe
the day.
because that's why I've been to weddings, and that's where you see them dancing.
Oh, that's a good point. You do see a lot of older folks dancing at the weddings. It's the younger.
Maybe they're just more willing to dance.
Yeah, it's the younger guys who are a little more embarrassed about the whole thing, I think.
Like, I'd be that guy. Like, I'm not sure I can. Part of it is, I don't know if I just let it go and just go. Do it.
That's what you got to do,
I'd be
man.
like a little tense about it, you know?
You got to be creatively confident. You got to be. You got to
Yeah,
stop
not.
worrying about what other people are going to be thinking about you because they will
I
be
know.
pointing and laughing. And if it's here, they'll be taking out their phones and taking videos too.
Yeah, like that's part of the reason. Like, I wouldn't even know. I probably can't dance. I don't think I could dance, but I don't even know if I can dance.
Yeah, you can't. I already know.
But you can't.
You definitely can't. I can tell
am
just by
not
the way you walk, man.
Tango. You can tell by the way I walk.
Yeah, you're an athlete. I could see you've been athletic in your life. You've got athletic movement, your walk, your gait. You can tell.
Can you stop checking me out?
Well, it's hard, Brent. You're a built man. Pretty impressive.
This is such garbage that we're going to sit here and pretend like Shachter knows anything about dancing.
I'm telling you. We'll call
I'm
my
surprised.
wife right now.
I'm surprised you went to the garbage card and you didn't even say this is uncomfortable.
I'm fully comfortable here. He's not checking me out. But listen, we're not going to sit here and pretend like you're rating people's walk and see if they can dance. You're not a dance expert. I don't believe there's any good dance coming out of the Shachter shoes. And until we see this stupid video on the stream, which is not there yet.
It's right here.
Put it on the stream.
I got to get it to the stream computer. I need a break for that. But it's right here. I got it pulled up. I'm ready to go.
It's unfortunate nobody can see your computer.
All right. We'll pull it up for the next
Why
break.
don't you
It's
move
fine.
the camera in front of the computer?
It's going to be a little nauseating.
Yeah, exactly. See, there's always an excuse. This guy can't dance.
I will put it on the stream. You will not have to wait very long. Just give me a little while to set it up.
You've got 4 minutes.
I am an international dance champion, and I do check Brent out, and I'm telling you, as an international dance champion, Brent does not move like a dancer. He moves like an athlete.
I'll buy that Dominican gin off you.
Let me ask you this, Brent or Kasey. Have you ever looked at someone and go, oh, that dude's never played sports his entire life?
Yes.
Yeah, without
Good
even
point.
seeing him play, right?
Yeah.
You can just tell.
But I've also been wrong.
Which way? In the way that they have, and you said they didn't, or in that?
Well, like you used to look at someone and be like, well, they're not athletic at all. And then, whoa, way more athletic than I thought.
Was it Stewart who you were wrong about? Because I was like, Stewart's not athletic.
No, he's not that way more athletic than I thought.
Yeah, that's what
but yeah, you can be wrong. Like you can guess wrong. I mean, there's that guy at the Y that shows up and he's like, "What's this guy doing here?" And then he shoots the lights out.
You do see some of the older basketball players who like shoot Manute Bowl style, 2 hands over the head, and they're just knocking them down from 50 feet out.
You got me thinking, like, back when you were 6 years old, you were saying you went with your mom to this dance stuff. You're like, can I go play baseball instead? Like, what's the thing that you did as a kid that, like, your parents made you do, and you're like, can we just stop this?
Yeah, man. For me, it was ballet. It was embarrassing. I was the only boy in the school.
I bet.
And they made such a big deal out of it. I was like the poster kid, and I didn't want to be.
But when we were growing up, if you had said that, right, and obviously people would or could or would say that, but then there was that story that ran around, like Herschel Walker took ballet.
Yeah.
Did you remember, like, football players would take ballet?
Oh, yeah. All of us athletes take ballet.
All of us athletes.
What's the problem? What happened? I'm just talking from experience.
Kasey, is there something that you were made to do, musical instrument, something like that as a kid, and you were like, please stop? Parental abuse.
I think I did gymnastics.
You didn't do no gymnastics.
I think. That's like the only thing I remember.
Kasey fell down the stairs once and thought he was doing tumbling. That's basically what happened.
We didn't have stairs.
Can we get pictures from Chip and Teresa, please?
I don't know. Maybe. Here's the thing. I remember vaguely, like, being in the gymnastics area. Maybe it was just recess at, like, daycare. I don't know. But no, my parents never made me, like, play a weird instrument or, do anything.
My mom made me go to piano class, and I'll never forget where it is. I don't remember what age group I was, but there was this. It was at this lady's house.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my mom's a violinist, so like
Mama Martineau
right?
is a big music lady,
and she was a Russian piano teacher. And she, in my opinion, was so mean. Like, I mean, I was like, I probably went home in tears. Like that kind of, and I don't know, looking back on it, if she really was as mean as I thought, or I just sucked.
Maybe a little bit of both.
And didn't want to admit it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I did suck. I mean, I'm not musically inclined either, so I'm not like.
So what can you do then?
For why you mash the keys like this? And she's hitting you with a hammer because of it. Oh my gosh.
And I remember I was like, Mom, basically like, Mom, please don't make me go back there. And she's like, well, just try it one more time. It's like one of those things, like one more time. This is like the 7th one more time, Mom.
This man
not
plays
very good at it.
chopsticks like blind bear.
Oh man, I can like picture the room, everything, and that was
that to me sounds like PTSD, Brent. It sounds like you've been scarred a little bit.
I was scarred. Now that you brought it up, you had to bring it up.
You're
all
gonna
about this dancing.
Shaking.
Can you get us
tonight.
to some tweets?
I'm trying. This mouth is not playing along right now.
Oh yeah,
Here we
delay
go.
this dancing video.
First tweet is from my close personal friend, good friend of the show, Robert Griffin III, talking about this Mac Jones thing. He says the Patriots have reportedly shopped Mac Jones to other teams this offseason, trying to trade him after giving him a defensive coordinator as his offensive coordinator and a special teams coach as his QB coach last year. It's mind-blowing. And I'm a Billy Zappi guy, according to Robert Griffin III. Love his game, but Mac's regression was a byproduct of unconventional decisions with the offense. Thought it could be a tendency breaker and give him an edge, but the only people they confused were their own players. Guys, are you saying Mac Jones and his regression last year is 100% on the Patriots? Are you with Robert Griffin III, or do you think Mac has some role to play here too?
I think it's a very similar situation to what the Jags put Trevor through in Urban Meyer's stuff. Now, listen, it's different in the context of toxicity and everything else but I'll go back to what I said earlier in the show, that you have to be put in a position to be successful. And the Jags, with that environment for Trevor, to get into the NFL, get acclimated to the NFL, to become a good quarterback in the NFL, they did not put him or the rest of the team in that environment because of what Urban Meyer did and how it went and everything else. And so from a different level, Belichick created the same kind of recipe for disaster, not success, failure for Mac Jones. And so, yeah, I put it all on Belichick and the surrounding of what they did. They did not run an offense. They didn't have offensive vision. They didn't have an offensive coordinator. They didn't have enough people around him skill-wise anyway. And I put that whole second year essentially on Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. I don't know how to judge Mac, and I think you get an excuse. You could maybe still play better. Sure, Trevor could have played better his rookie year, but I don't know how we measure it based on the experience the young man had.
Yeah.
Same goes for Mac Jones. I don't see it any different. Different circumstances, but I don't see it any different when talking about the two quarterbacks in those separate years.
Kasey, if he threw for what would have been 3,200 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions last year had he not gotten hurt, and that's in a bad year with a defensive coordinator as his offensive coordinator and a special teams coordinator as his quarterback's coach, where do you think Mac Jones really lives statistically?
I think Mac would have been fine. I think Mac is good. I think Mac would have had better numbers than his rookie year, and we'd be talking about Mac in a different conversation, not a team that might be interested in Lamar Jackson. But I think it's as simple as if you need a new roof, you hire a roofer. You don't hire someone that doesn't do roofs. Okay? I can't think of a comparison there.
A floorer,
a plumber.
I think is what you're
You
looking
don't
for.
hire a plumber.
A floorer.
To do your roof. Okay?
Or a grasser.
Right. You don't hire none of those people. You hire a roofer to do your roof. So then why the hell are we hiring...
He's literally learning how to become an adult as we do the show.
Why are we hiring a defensive coordinator to be an offensive coordinator? And that's the answer.
That's a good point.
By the way, this is a very good answer that Aaron is interrupting.
I'm sorry.
Because you're right. And I thought it was a good reference.
Thank you.
Listen, NFL.com says Mac Jones is ranked 29th on the quarterback index. They've got names like Deshaun Watson, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, and Kenny Pickett ahead of him. Do you think that's fair?
No. They all had offensive coaches.
Andy Dalton.
No.
Derek Carr.
I would put Derek Carr ahead of Mac Jones.
All right. Well, that would be 24th unless you think Derek Carr's in the wrong spot. Matt Stafford.
Broken neck.
Yes.
Brissett. Because by the time you
tried to get him into the top 3 quarterbacks a week and a half ago with a broken neck.
I did.
I remember these things.
He should go see a broken necker and get that figured out.
Who'd you just say, Brissett?
Brissett, Garoppolo, and Tannehill are the next 3.
Careful what you're adding letters to.
I would take Mac over Brissett.
Would you take him over Tannehill? Yeah.
Yes.
Would you take him over Danny Dimes? Probably not.
It's probably not the right thing to say.
I mean, you're close to the middle of the pack at this point on Mac Jones.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to tell you he's top 5, but...
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying he's not bottom of the barrel at all.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I blame that all on the Patriots front. I really blame it all on Belichick. Because what was Matt Patricia supposed to do? Dude's jobless. Belichick, his mentor, goes, hey, I got a job for you. It's something you wouldn't want to do. You've never done before in your life, but maybe you want to give it a shot. And he's like, yeah, what else am I doing this year?
Yeah, I'll become a roofer.
I'm supposed to be a floorer. I'll become a roofer.
There you go. And it didn't work.
What a next tweet.
Next tweet is from Nate Tice, who I love his stuff too, by the way. Him and Warren Sharp are some of the best non-reporters who I follow on analytics, and these guys are great.
Sure
Nate Tice.
Nate's dad, coach for the Jacks.
Yeah, that's right, Mike, right? Nate Tice put out a passing chart from Anthony Richardson's time at Florida. Granted, I think it's only, 15 starts or so you're not going to get a ton of info in there. But interesting in the chart, and then Nate points out in his tweet, Anthony Richardson's target map looks like it has a moat. If you look at the target map, it's all red, where he's making all these attempts about 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage in the flat to his running backs or wide receivers. Then there's this all blue area from around the line of scrimmage to about 10 yards out, where no attempts were being made really last year or at his time during Florida. And then once you get past the 10 yards, 15, 20, 25 yards, suddenly you start to get red again. And so it got me to start wondering, is this more a case of Anthony Richardson not being accurate, or is it more of a case of Anthony Richardson not really having guys to throw to, and so his accuracy gets hurt in that sense? Maybe he's trying to anticipate where there'll be a little too much, and these guys aren't necessarily creating separation or running routes well, and so he has to affect his throw in a poor way. Like, are we going to find out that Anthony Richardson may have been way better than we thought coming out of Florida?
Well, I think that's what the pundits are planning on, and also the execs, right? I think this case has been made that he didn't have good enough stuff around him. But, guys, I don't believe our eyes lie either. And I also think his words are correct, where he said just last week when we were in Gainesville that I was inconsistent. And I know I've got to get more consistent at the next level. That won't work. So he took ownership of that, which I appreciate. I think you can make the case around him probably on some throws as you break it down. But I think you can do that a lot. I think you could have done that for Blake Bortles at times and Trevor Lawrence when he struggled at times in his rookie year. Like, I think you can do that. But overall, we see this, like our eyes tell us something. And usually it at least shades us in the correct way. And I think the Anthony Richardson eye test said, man, there was some stuff that just looked bad. There was some stuff that looked, wow, good. But there was some stuff that was just not top 5, top 10, first-round material. I mean, and I think that's fact. He's got to clean that up. Do you put him in a situation that he's more confident, that he's more polished, that he has better players around him? Maybe. And once you get there, does he thrive? That's what they're banking on. That's the mystery. What you just brought up is really the mystery of Anthony Richardson. Nobody's questioning his tool set. They're questioning, can he consistently play the quarterback position at a high level?
I'm wondering the most about Anthony Richardson. Is anybody going to be in line with these projections correctly? Because you're not necessarily hearing a lot of middle ground on Anthony Richardson. He's either going to be an amazing multi-tool player who will be historically athletic in the NFL, or it's, bust city. And you're going to sit him behind someone, or he's never going to hit the field, or what he does is going to be a disaster. You're not hearing anyone go, oh, this guy will throw 3,000 yards a season, 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. There's no one in the middle of the pack. You hear him mocked at number 1. You hear him mocked at number 3. You don't hear him mocked at number 2. Like, this is all weird to me.
Yeah, you wonder how much of the Anthony Richardson stuff what you just said is really good, right? Some people have tried to push him to number one, man, and that's died down a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you hear him at number one, you hear rumors with the Panthers, and you hear him to number 3. You don't hear him at number 2. Like, the Texans know for sure who they're picking, and the answer is not Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, and we all believe, and I don't think many people believe he's going to go number 1 either. Like, I don't think people are buying that, although obviously it's possible. Why wouldn't they explore? They can explore all of them and do their due diligence, and that makes sense too. They should. But I think a lot of folks, most people, think 1 and 2 are already kind of settled, and then it's a free-for-all. And where does Anthony Richardson fit there? And also that shows you the thirst to get a quarterback.
Yeah.
And the drive to get a quarterback.
Well,
and that's what this is about, just as much as about Anthony Richardson's skill set, tools, how he projects. It's about these teams that need quarterbacks. And, well, it's draft time, and you're picking pretty high. Let's go get a quarterback.
I can't. I'm struggling to think of another quarterback who's been mocked as high as 1 or 3 and as low as bottom of the first round.
Johnny Manziel.
Huh. That's actually really good.
Johnny Manziel was very much across the board, and some of it had to do with his tool set. Most of it
character issues
had to be him being a tool.
Yeah.
Sorry, just was an easy fit.
It was good.
I mean, he. I think that's the case. I'd have to go back and look. You know, Manziel was a bit undersized anyway, wasn't he, guys?
Yeah, he was on the shorter side. I don't know if he was Bryce Young short. I'll look it up, but he was on the shorter side.
And that was a little bit. That would have been like would have been 14. Would have been 14. I think he came out. So that would have been.
He's 6 feet tall, but he looked like a small 6.
But it's before it's cool to be okay to be small. Like Russell Wilson kind of changed that a bit. And that would have been right when Russell was doing his thing, but not everybody was convinced you can still be shorter than 6'3" and play the quarterback position in the NFL.
Yeah.
So that was a problem too. And then the character stuff was a problem as well. And so I really believe, in fact, I know for a fact, it seemed like a smokescreen, but there were plenty of people that thought the Jags were going Manziel in that draft. And I think he was even projected as high as number 1 to your point. And then he ended up, what did he end up being, like 22nd?
22.
Yeah. And so that's probably the guy that most recently has been all over the board from a quarterback perspective.
It's actually a good answer to the question.
But here, I'll follow it up with this. See, Anthony Richardson is not like Johnny Manziel because I can't find anybody outside the top 10 talking Anthony Richardson. Like, I can't find anybody going to the back of the first round, the mid-first round. Can you? It feels like it's a consensus he's going in the top 10.
Yeah, before the Combine, you saw it. Once he went to the Combine and broke all those records with his athleticism, no one's doing it anymore.
No, he won't get past Seattle.
At 5.
And that's where he's different then, right? I mean, he's way more Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, not Trevor, but those guys than he is Johnny Manziel floating all over the first round. Now, when we had this conversation 2 months ago, Kasey, when we were at St. John's Country Day for that preseason game, we were having this conversation. I remember it. I thought he would be all over the place. I thought he could be projected top 5, projected top 10, but might not be picked until 27.
Yeah.
And I'll give you one other one, guys. How about Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
Lamar, I think, in some respects was, hey, why aren't you getting this guy early? Some people are going to get him early. And then he ends up almost falling out of the first round. I'd have to go check that one, but I believe there was some conversation about him in the top 10, in the top 5. But I think most thought that he would go middle to back end of the first round. He actually almost slipped out of the second round until Baltimore traded up.
Yeah, they took him 32nd. Quarterbacks taken in front of him, pretty famously, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, and then, my guy Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield at the top of the draft. That's an ugly quarterback draft.
Well, that's a really interesting draft because, I mean, you talk about – say those names again. Go slowly.
Baker Mayfield at number 1.
Okay, so Mayfield, ton of questions, right?
Yep.
Character issues, all that stuff. And a smaller guy. Okay, next.
Darnold, number 3.
Yeah, Darnold, to me, didn't have a lot of questions.
No, he was supposed to go number 1.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
Right? People thought he was going to be the guy.
He was supposed to go number 1. Baker was supposed to go to the Jets.
And who knows that Sam Darnold, again, I don't think the Jets did a fine job of putting stuff around him. They didn't put him in a good position to be successful. And when you do that, you kind of, listen, no different than Blaine Gabbert. The Jags did not do a good job around Blaine Gabbert. Was Blaine Gabbert going to be a good quarterback? Maybe not. But I don't know.
Who knows?
You really screwed the kid up. I mean, they weren't supposed to play him that year. They had no offensive line to block for him, and they screwed him up. Again, he might never have been a good quarterback or a starting caliber quarterback or the quarterback he should have been. But they did not do a good job putting him in a position to be successful. I think the Jets did the same for Sam Darnold. Who else you have? Josh Allen, right?
Josh Allen was number 7.
And a very conflicting pre-draft process, I believe.
Oh, for sure.
Super tools.
I think people thought number 7 was too high for him at the draft.
Yeah.
I think there was some shock there.
And crazy enough, he's the best one of the bunch.
Easily.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Lamar Jackson has something to say about that.
Lamar. And then you have Lamar, and I think you mentioned one other.
Well, you have Rosen at 10, who, by the way, started this trend of barely giving quarterbacks any time to breathe and get their, head about them before you just move on to the next guy.
Yeah, he's
you got 16 chances, buddy.
That was actually
he got 6. Hey, many people get 1. He got 16.
Yeah, I mean, that's who the Jets were projected to pick that year for a very long time, Josh Rosen. But people didn't like his character, his attitude, because he had a hot tub in his dorm room at UCLA.
That's right.
Everyone was like, "Oh,
I forgot about that."
They were like, "He's got a hot tub. He doesn't care about football. He's a rich kid. He's too smart to play." That was all the knocks on Josh Rosen.
Has a hot tub. Hates
I don't
football.
remember that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do. I remember
it was
the
a
hot
big
tub
deal.
now.
It's that UCLA life right there.
How dumb.
Give me another tweet. What you got?
Well, this next tweet comes from the NFL on ESPN, but they're talking about comments made by Dan Orlovsky, who I happen to love. Dan Orlovsky says OBJ is worth a potential $15 million price tag. $15 million. Quote, I love the addition to the Jets because he's not the guy. He's the guy to get the matchup. Garrett Wilson is going to be the guy. OBJ can then eat, right? Here's the problem, guys. $15 million.
Yeah.
It's insanity. Insanity for OBJ, who didn't even play last season. And by the way, is on the other side of what, 2 ACLs?
Hey, Dan. We're going to have to take those keys to the city back.
Oh, go get him, Brent.
I mean, come on. You know what's so funny? Dan Orlovsky's name escaped my mind. I saw. Did you see the picture of Dan Hurley on the podium with his hat backwards?
No.
Go look up that picture. It was like a still frame, and I was like, it looks like Dan Orlovsky's brother. I mean, he really did look just like Dan Orlovsky. So anyway, that little story.
Let me give you a couple numbers of other guys that make $15 million a year at the wide receiver position, and then maybe you'll change your opinion on this. Hunter Renfrow, Allen Robinson, Cortland Sutton. Does OBJ belong in there?
So I would say when Allen Robinson got the contract that led to this season costing $15 million, he was coming off some pretty dominant performances from the Jaguars and the Bears. 1,000-yard receiving seasons. But if Allen Robinson was up for a contract renegotiation at the end of last year after not playing,
sure,
would he be making 15?
No.
Kasey, give me those 3 guys again.
Cortland Sutton, A-Rob, and then Hunter Renfrow.
Okay, so what is it fair to say, and maybe this is a little too dramatic, mistake?
I'm with you on that.
No, you're right.
I would even say that Robinson may not have been a mistake at the time, but certainly in hindsight doesn't look great.
In hindsight. So, so you're saying $15 million for OBJ. Okay, the last 3, those 3 examples at least, I don't know if it's the last 3 examples, well, you overpaid. Like, you paid too much.
Too much.
To me, that's a trend that says don't go there. It's part of the trend that says why the tight end market maybe did what it did this offseason, why the receiver market did what it did this offseason. Because people went crazy, and it didn't pay off for them.
Yeah.
And so, to me, the OBJ, I mean, seriously, I know we're just kidding around with Dan Orlovsky stuff. That makes no sense to me. Absolutely no sense. Who's paying it? What competition do you have to get $15 million to OBJ?
3 teams.
That seems ridiculous.
3 teams in on OBJ. One of them's already made him an offer, although we don't know what that number is. The Ravens have extended an offer to Odell Beckham Jr. Obviously, I think he's waiting to see what the number is on the Jets' offer. I can promise you, knowing what I know about Joe Douglas and knowing what I know about how desperate the Ravens are to bring receivers right now, the Ravens' offer is going to be higher. The Jets are not throwing $15 million at this guy. I doubt they'd even throw 10.
Yeah, but I bet I don't know what the Ravens have. I got to believe the Jets have way more money to play with.
Well, that was certainly the news being reported at the beginning of the offseason where everyone was like, oh, poison pill on Lamar. Ravens can't afford it. They have made some moves since then, and we have heard them in on a few of these wide receiver names, like DeAndre Hopkins. So I imagine they think they can move some stuff around. 15 mil sounds like his agent, not what actually is going to happen.
And
I have no idea. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, as you go down the money from there at wide receiver per year, not a lot of other good ones either. Now, it goes down to 12.5, but Corey Davis, Curtis Samuel, Michael Gallup, Alan Lazard.
No, none of them are worth it.
Right.
What's like a guy like DeAndre Hopkins going to get if – and again, I don't think OBJ is getting $15 million, but I'm saying what's like at this point –
His
DeAndre
current
Hopkins,
number on his contract is 19 and change. The belief is the Cardinals will cut him, and then you just start over.
And somebody redo it. Now, him for $15 million?
I'd do that.
I could see that.
I would do that.
Sure.
Yeah, I could see that. But not OBJ. Like, again, and Kasey's a guy that really values OBJ more than I do.
Big time.
I'm not as high on him as everybody else is.
Ain't 15, though.
And I sure ain't $15 million on him. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp playing tonight on ESPN 690. Their home opener against the Durham Bulls right here at 121 Financial Ballpark. It's coming up. First pitch, 7:05. Coverage starts at 6:50 on ESPN 690. Football at 5 rolls on right after this on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly clear skies tonight. Temperatures dropping into the 60s. Some fog and clouds to begin your Wednesday, then partly sunny and hot with afternoon highs in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Now get 0% interest for 5 years with nothing down.
Shine Down, the Revolution's live tour. Friday, April 14th, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. With special guest, 3 Days Grace. And From Ashes to New. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss Shine Down live.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Are you ready for a great deal? Do you have your heart set on a new Toyota? Then go to the Ready, Set, Go sales event happening now at Arlington Toyota. Of course, at Arlington, you get Ready, Set, Go deals and more, like 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. Plus, every new Toyota comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty. That's unlimited time and miles. But you better shop now before Ready, Set, Go is gone. Don't wait. Shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
The spring season on the campus of the University of North Florida is in full swing. A busy time to swoop baseball, softball, tennis, beach volleyball, track and field. Something for everyone at UNF. Find the schedules, results, the stories of the student athletes, and buy tickets at UNFospreys.com. There are some fun things happening on the campus of the University of North Florida. You can also check out the strategic plan of the future for UNF athletics. It's all at UNFospreys.com. Swoop with the Ospreys at UNF.
Yo, 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 what's up, party people? I'm Julie Foudy.
And I'm Lynn Ozawi.
We host the ESPN podcast Laughter Permitted, where we have candid chats with trailblazing women in sports and beyond.
We've talked with goats like Billie Jean King, Simone Biles, Mia Hamm, Sue Bird, Candace Parker, Michaela Schifrin, just to name a few.
So grab a donut or 500 and check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, Ally, who has supported us since day one.
It's Laughter Permitted. Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
Hey, girl, I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. My shoulder pain has been terrible lately.
Sounds like you need to call Integrity Spine and Orthopedics in Jacksonville. Their brand new facility is incredible. It feels like you're at a spa. Best of all, their top-rated doctors really listen to you and create your own personalized plan.
Nice. I'm calling Integrity right now.
Integrity, where you matter most. Schedule your appointment today at integritymattersmost.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Mama, what does the chicken say? Dog. Cat. Giraffe.
Giraffe, really?
Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life. And you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut. Take 2. Action.
You've been diagnosed with a new purpose, to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself. To look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
Hey, it's Brent Mortno from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Welcome back to the Brent Friends Show, ESPN 690. Your boy, Aaron Schachter. His boy, Kasey Kurtz. Live, Case. What's the problem? You don't like that? You don't like being my boy?
Oh, I didn't understand.
My homie.
I get it now.
I'm their boy, you're my boy. That's how it works. Nope.
No.
All right, that's fine. Let's do that again. Can you start it over? Welcome back to the Brent Friends Show. Hanging out with you guys. We've had a fun day today, Case. We talked to Greeny, Mike Greenberg.
We did.
It was great on Jet stuff. Remember the time he yelled at Brent?
He yelled at Brent. That was awesome.
Oh, that was tremendous.
So good.
He was
best moment of the show so far.
He was giving a critique, an analysis on one of Brent's questions.
You gotta love that.
This is the first time ever. What did I learn today? I learned that Daniel Kilkenny and Mike Greenberg have something in common.
They both hate Brent.
Or his questions.
It'd be better if it was just Brent.
I don't know that Daniel hates Brent. I think Mike does. He told me that in the commercial break.
He definitely hates him.
He was like, that guy's he has no idea what he's talking about.
He's asking non-serious questions on the radio.
And then he wants to ask me how I feel all the time. Wait, that was Kenny.
Yeah.
That was Kilkenny. Anyway, we got the draft coming up. Obviously, we've been talking about it nonstop for weeks. Every mock draft that comes through, we're looking at it. We're diving in. We're checking out what the experts either think will happen, are predicting could happen, should happen. All of it, right? But obviously we don't know any of it until we get to that night in April. What is it, the 26th? 27th. Get to that night in April on the 27th after Travis Kelce has thrown Kelce Festapalooza.
Yes.
And the draft is actually happening. We will finally find out what the heck goes down at the NFL draft. But I think the expectation is we may see some trades. At least 1 or 2. Possibly in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Are you on board with that? Do you think anyone's going to trade at least into the top 10? Because there's a little bit of smoke going on there. We've already seen Carolina trade up to number 1, trading with Chicago, giving up a haul.
Mm-hmm.
You got Houston at number 2, 2 first-round picks, 2 in the top 15, actually. Do you see them moving? I don't see it. They need a quarterback there.
Yeah, big time.
You got the Cardinals at 3. I think they're a prime candidate to move.
Yeah, somebody else is going to be picking at 3.
Definitely, right?
Mm-hmm. You would think so.
Because if it's not Will Anderson, and Will Anderson Jr. is supposed to be like a tremendous talent, but you've got defensive line talent in this draft. I mean, it's loaded with edges and interior guys. You'll find them in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find them in the top 15. I think it's a prime spot for a trade right there. The question is, who will trade with them? Will it be the Colts? Will it be someone like the Raiders? Will the Falcons jump up? Wave away all that smoke on Desmond Ridder.
That'd be something.
Maybe the Bears jump back up to number 3.
Could. Got the capital.
Could they? Titans have been rumored to go up to number 3. We saw that yesterday, although that was more of a scenario thrown out there than it was a front office executive talking to Schefter or Rappaport, and then those guys bringing it to the table. I think the report is that the Titans are taking calls on Derrick Henry, and some of those calls involve trading draft picks. But it's not like the Titans are out there shopping Derrick Henry, and we haven't necessarily heard the Titans are trying to buy into that 3rd pick. But I did see an article on PFF that I liked. I wanted to bring it to the table, of course. I don't want to talk about who wrote it because the guy didn't want to come on the show.
Jason from Over the Cap?
No, this is PFF, man. Tampa Bay Trev at it again. He writes good articles. I don't know what you want from me.
More people that don't email you back.
I like his stuff, though.
Most specifically, Jason at Over the Cap, who replied the first time and then not the second time.
And then ghosted me.
You bum.
He ghosted me. He's not a bum. He's busy.
Is he?
Is he Rizm-Kism? So, Tampa Bay Trev has written this article about trying to predict the biggest surprises at the 23 draft. Some of these are interesting. Some of them I think are somewhat impossible. I want to run them by you. I want to see how possible you think some of these are.
Okay.
But the first one he's got on there is one I just mentioned, man. The Tennessee Titans trading up to number 3 overall. Here's what Tampa Bay Trev had to say about it. Cardinals are one of the hottest tickets in town. They got the number 3 pick. As a team that doesn't need a quarterback, they know the bidding war was sparked by quarterback-needy teams behind them, and it could commence on draft night. We've heard teams like the Lions, the Raiders, the Falcons, all being possible trade-up candidates for that spot. But another outside of the top 10 team seems to be in the mix as well. Daniel Jeremiah, Mr. Move the Sticks, said on his podcast, Move the Sticks, that one team he's heard of as a surprise candidate for number 3 sits at number 11, the Tennessee Titans. Does it scare you, Case, if the Titans move up to number 3?
It does not scare me. I am not concerned by it, but I will say that out of the 4 things that are happening in this article, I ranked it as number 1 in I would not be surprised if it happened.
So you think there's a pot? You're saying there's a chance.
I'm saying that there should be too much of a chance because what do you got? I mean,
Ryan Tannehill.
Not forever, and you ain't winning a Super Bowl with him. So, and you're probably not bad enough to lose enough to get Caleb Williams if Ryan Tannehill plays. And it's not like they're out there saying, hey, you know what, Malik Willis, we believe in him. They didn't make a video like the Falcons did for Desmond Ridder.
They really didn't.
So, we have no idea how they feel, although we knew at the end of the season when they played Josh Dobbs over him.
Yeah, that was pretty much the main signal.
So, I mean, it makes too much sense if you love one of those 2 guys. Now, the question I would have would be if you're Tennessee, you got to be absolutely and unbelievably sure that Anthony Richardson's going to be good, but also you drafted a guy last year and Ryan Tannehill said, it's not my job to mentor him. And that's literally what you need in this scenario. You can't throw him into play. You need him to learn and sit and maybe a little mentoring that Ryan Tannehill doesn't want to do. So I think that's a tough scenario to give up all the picks to go get a guy that you think Ryan Tannehill is going to be mad at again. So it's a delicate situation, but I don't know why they wouldn't at least explore it.
A couple of beefs here as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen the Godfather movies? Are you a Godfather fan at all?
Mm-mm.
So what about Rocky?
I seen the first one.
Okay, so you haven't seen all of either. Both of those franchises were historically good, iconic franchises. But for The Godfather...
I've seen Star Wars.
When they got to Godfather 3, Star Wars might work in this example too. When they got to Godfather 3, it was so bad. The public and the folks behind Godfather just started pretending like 3 doesn't exist.
Ah.
You'll see Godfather marathons on like Christmas or Thanksgiving on some of these channels like AMC or whatever. And often they'll just not play Godfather 3.
Is there a 4?
No. Oh. And if there is, it's like straight to video. Like it's on demand the same day it was released.
Gotcha.
Same deal with Rocky. Rockies 1 through 4, iconic, especially Rocky 4. It really captivated a nation. And then you get to Rocky 5 with Tommy Gunn and a fake Don King, and everyone just wants to pretend like Rocky 5 doesn't exist. It wasn't a thing. As far as people are concerned, it goes Rocky 1, 2, 3, and 4, Rocky Balboa, and then the Creed movies. And this is how I feel the Titans are treating Malik Willis. Poor Malik Willis had the best day of his life at last year's draft.
Yeah.
And what a nightmare it turned up being for him.
Kind of.
They really have casted this dude aside. And so if I'm Anthony Richardson, I'm going, they're going to do that to me? Because I got news. If the Titans move up to 3, it ain't for Will Levis.
Agreed.
That's not who they're moving for.
Mm-hmm.
So now Anthony Richardson going, not only did they toss the last guy aside like he was Godfather 3, Rocky 5, but they just brought in, a new offensive coordinator, didn't they?
Yes.
So now you got a new coordinator. You don't even know if this guy's going to work out in Tennessee, especially when you're probably getting rid of Ryan Tannehill in the next year or two.
Mm-hmm.
You may end up blowing it up with the coaching staff again anyway. I mean, if I'm Anthony Richardson, I'm hoping and praying Titans ain't coming up to get me.
It's interesting.
I'd rather have a lower draft pick. Like, I'd rather be 4, 5, 16 than go to the Titans at whatever number.
Yikes.
Because it ain't going to work out if he goes there, I'll tell you that much. The next one is, it seems, out of this world, off the charts, crazy town. Houston Texans not taking a quarterback at number 2. Tampa Bay Trev says in a recent installment of Peter King's Monday Morning Quarterback column, and by the way, no one in sports is more incorrect on a consistent basis than Peter King. Just going to put that out there. He typed through the idea the Texans not taking a quarterback at 2, and on the surface level, it's a hot take. Peter, however, he goes on to explain that the way they would do so is by potentially using that number 12 pick and their additional 2024 day 1 pick to move up back into the top 10 for a quarterback if one starts to fall. That way, they could take someone like Will Anderson Jr. at number 2 and still get a quarterback. Here's the problem, Tampa Bay Trev, besides the fact that you refuse to get back in touch with us because we want to talk to you on the show.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is if they want Will Anderson Jr., just trade back. Trade back a spot or 2. Call up the Colts. Be like, hey, do you want Bryce? We'll even give you a deal because a deal on the pick is still going to be more than what you got.
True.
And then you could pick Will Anderson and you got more capital. Like, why pick him at number 2 and then risk all these other teams jumping up into the top 10?
Yeah. I got this one at 4, which is least likely to happen because I don't think there's a chance that they can afford to not take Bryce Young here, even how much they love Will Anderson, which they probably should. But the interesting part about it is if they decided to not and they decided to trade it, draft Will Anderson at 2, whatever, they are bad enough to get the first pick next year.
Yeah.
Like they would be the betting favorite to get Caleb Williams. And it's intriguing.
You like almost every strategy that results in Caleb Williams in 24. Here's the problem.
I do.
The Jets were the worst team in the league.
And they didn't get
the Trevor Lawrence year. That's just it.
Yeah. Again, I don't think this is likely. I don't think there's a chance that Houston can make that mistake because what if you accidentally win? Like, that's the worst case scenario.
Or what if they get Caleb Williams and he's just not worth it?
Yeah, you take that risk.
Okay, fine. But you end up looking like a jerk 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that is tough. I'm telling you, they're going to take Bryce Young. Like, that's why I have it as most unlikely to happen.
Tampa Bay Trev out here doing drugs or something.
There's logic there, though.
I don't see it.
There's logic.
I don't see it. Not the way he's got it written out. The other 2 things he's got is Jalen Carter as the 5th defensive player taken, which seems highly unlikely. Everyone's got him mocked as the 2nd. I agree with that.
No, I have him at number 2, most likely to happen.
So you think there's a chance here?
Before the other 2, yes.
So Will Anderson Jr., Tyree Wilson, and then Christian Gonzalez, Devin Witherspoon, the pair of corners there.
2 corners, yeah.
And then suddenly you're down to Jalen Carter.
It can happen.
And then Bijan Robinson in the top 10 as a running back seems unlikely, but I think that's the most likely thing to happen to the Eagles. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, once the Bears take Jalen Carter, if he falls that far, the Eagles will go ahead and take Bijan Robinson. I buy that. We'll see. Time will tell, my friend. Time will tell. The draft is a short 23 days from now. And your Jaguars are not picking at the top.
Yes.
Hallelujah. We'll be back to wrap up the Brent Friends Show, ESPN 690. Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz, back after this.
Rich Jones here. If you're an investor who's interested in doing well while doing good, getting solid returns on your investments while making a positive impact, consider investment funds with DLP Capital. Here's Don Winter, CEO of DLP Real Estate Capital, to tell you more.
With the current housing shortage in the U.S., investing in real estate, especially workforce housing, is one of the safest and most reliable places to invest. We invest in affordable housing for hardworking people and generate amazing returns for each of our investors.
To get your investor's guide and find out more, dial ** invest from your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale starts now with limited quantity deals on select performance PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Save on select essential accessories plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Wait, aren't these all charitable donations?
At Magda's Tax Prep, every person counts.
I'd rather not have to file for an extension.
She needs new auditors to maximize returns on her family time.
On itemized deductions. Hey, can someone help with these 1099s?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You ready? Then get set and go to the Ready, Set, Go event, even on pre-owned at Arlington Toyota. That's all makes, all models, all colors, shapes, and sizes, all specially priced during the Ready, Set, Go event at Arlington Pre-Owned. Plus, our friends over at Arlington give you 30 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it. With over 400 pre-owned on the lot, you better get Ready, Set, Go to Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? 1-to-1 Financial, we're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
American Window Products offers free low-E coating on select windows at an affordable price that can help reduce your energy usage with 12 months zero-interest financing. Visit AmericanWindowProducts.com for a free estimate.
Financing available at time of sale for new orders only.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I got my COVID-19 vaccine when I was pregnant. I wanted to do everything I could to help protect my baby and keep myself healthy. So I talked to my doctor and learned that vaccines are safe and effective when you're pregnant. My daughter Lauren was born healthy and happy, and she was protected against COVID. Getting your COVID, flu, and Tdap vaccines while pregnant keeps families protected against dangerous diseases.
To learn how to protect your family, visit vaccinateyourfamily.org/learn.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Back to quickly wrap up Brent Friends show on ESPN 690. Aaron Schachter and Kasey Kurtz. Case, I got some breaking news. Can you help me out here? Breaking news.
Yep.
Breaking news.
Yep.
I got some breaking news. Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome.
Daniel Kilkenny is very worried. He said in the chat, it's not that I don't like Brent. It's just that I have a very long list of people that I like more. And then he was sitting with that comment and got a little worried that Brent would get mad at him. So he gave him the JK. Daniel, be a man of your word. Stand up for yourself, buddy. It's okay to hate on Brent. Kasey does it all the time. Oh, more breaking news, Case?
That I hate on Brent all the time.
Yeah. It's not really breaking news, though.
I just like the stinger.
It's an old story.
Yeah.
All right.
An update to a story we brought you a year and a half ago.
Yeah, that's actually what they teach us to write in the newsroom.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got breaking news about tonight.
Oh, dude.
You got to go get
just
it
what
again.
I go get.
Come on. We got baseball tonight, bro. Jumbo Shrimp. They're playing tonight.
They are.
You got overtime tonight, don't you?
Yeah, next.
Oh, that's why he's upset. Kilkenny goes, he still hasn't sent me the Super Bowl hat.
Yeah, it's right over there.
Oh, it's long gone, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't coming. Kasey stole it.
Didn't steal it.
He's going to get Charlie Cox's autograph on it.
No, not going to do that.
It's gonna get some random actor from some 90s TV. Whoever played Sean from Boy Meets World, he's going to get their autograph and put it on the hat. That's what's going to happen. Jumbo Shrimp baseball tonight. What time is first pitch, Case?
7:10.
Playing the Durham Bulls.
7:05.
It's a field of dreams out there. Glad to see the Jumbo Shrimp back in action. You can hear them all week long right here on ESPN 690. As for Kasey Kurtz and me, Aaron Schachter, the Brent Friends show is out of here. See you tomorrow.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale starts now with limited quantity deals on select performance PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Save on select essential accessories plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Everyone loves TV Dad.
On the next TV Dad, presented by Progressive, TV Dad gets us through heartache.
Chin up, sport.
Oh, hey, TV Dad.
You know what heals all wounds?
Time?
No, it's remembering that drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
But Jen still doesn't want to be with me.
True. I actually saw her with your friend Brian earlier.
Wait, what?
Listen to your TV Dad. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
The spring season on the campus of the University of North Florida is in full swing. A busy time to swoop baseball, softball, tennis, beach volleyball, track and field. Something for everyone at UNF. Find the schedules, results, the stories of the student athletes, and buy tickets at UNFospreys.com. There are some fun things happening on the campus of the University of North Florida. You can also check out the strategic plan of the future for UNF athletics. It's all at UNFospreys.com. Swoop with the Ospreys at UNF.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate allows you to skip the hassle and get your home sold fast and stress-free. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry, so you can sell your home stress-free, make the most money, and move when you're ready. Don't worry about the hassle of constant cleaning and making costly repairs. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Certain restrictions apply.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Have you been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease? Jack's Hope Inc. is here to help. Jack's Hope would like to thank the City of Jacksonville for proclaiming April 2023 as Parkinson's Awareness Month. For more information, visit jackshopeinc.org.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Former Cardinals Vice President Terry McDonough is accusing team owner Michael Bidwell of gross misconduct in an arbitration claim to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. McDonough alleges Bidwell pressured he and then head coach Steve Wilkes to use a burner phone to secretly remain in communication with GM Steve Keim, who was serving a 5-game team-imposed suspension after being arrested for extreme DUI. The Cardinals deny the allegations. Iowa star Caitlin Clark won the 2023 Wooden Award given to the nation's most outstanding college basketball player. Among the topics she was asked about during today's appearance on SportsCenter, the gestures of LSU's Angel Reese and trash talking during the women's national title game. Any criticism of Reese is unwarranted, according to Clark.
We're all competitive. We all show our emotions in a different way. Angel's tremendous player. I have nothing but respect for her. I love her game. The way she rebounds the ball, scores the ball, is absolutely incredible. I'm a big fan of her and even the entire LSU team. Like I said, they played an amazing game. So, I don't think there should be any criticism for what she did.
Iowa's Caitlin Clark.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier to help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Breaking news.
Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too. The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited-time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Mark your calendar for this year's Ancient City Game Fish Challenge tournaments. There are 2 tournaments, the Redfish Bash, May 26th through the 27th, and the Kingfish Challenge, July 13th through the 15th. Great fishing fun for the entire family. Be a part of both of these great challenge tournaments. The Redfish Bash, May 26th through the 27th, the Kingfish Challenge, July 13th through the 15th, where a junior angler can win a brand new boat valued at $10,000. Get more info at 904-669-0295 or visit their website, acgfa.com.
Having someone to talk to can change a life.
Cried out to her, she listened to me, she talked me through my depression.
Or even save a life.
I probably wouldn't be here at all, not only in this room, but just not here at all, if I didn't have the help.
If you need someone to talk to, the LJD Jewish Family and Community Services is here with in-person trained counselors or through teletherapy. JFCS is here for Jax. Visit jfcsjax.org.
Hi, this is Mal Washington. The Malavia Washington Youth Foundation provides after-school and summer programs for youth in Jacksonville's urban core. Learn more about the foundation at malwashington.com. Want to offer hope and change a child's life? Please consider joining the Malavia Washington Youth Foundation once a week to mentor a child. Visit malwashington.com to learn more. Want to change a life but don't have time to volunteer? Consider sponsoring a child today. It's your serve. Visit malwashington.com to learn more.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
All right. I hate to do this 2 days in a row. But dang it, you were right again. About the same topic, too. And it's a topic you hate. Ain't that something? Maybe you should just become a college basketball fan. Because you're 2 for 2. You killed it. The regular season doesn't matter? Check. This thing could turn into UGA against TCU. Check. Well done, Brian Middleton. Thank you. I mean, how many times I got to say check? You know what I'm saying? Thank you. You did it twice. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton, ESPN 690. And Brian Middleton called it. Said it might get ugly. Got kind of ugly last night. UConn, San Diego State. UConn pulls away. They beat everybody handily in the tournament, win the men's championship. Expected. Doesn't it kind of suck when things go as expected?
No.
See,
it doesn't suck.
Kind of does.
No.
You kind of want to see some of that magic.
There's an element of appreciation there. You know what? We thought this was how it was going to go, and then you went out there and said, this is how it's going to go.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not this. I would have rather seen Florida Atlantic than whatever that was that San Diego State did yesterday. No knock on those kids, but
yeah, I wanted to see Florida Atlantic too. But anyway, UConn wins it. That'll do it for college basketball. We'll check on you about this time next year. To be real with you. I mean, I'm just being honest.
Oh, boy.
I ain't checking on you until after the Super Bowl. So we'll see you in about 11 months. Because the Gators are trash. Florida State, it was not a good season for the Seminoles. So, yeah, we'll check on you in February.
Breaking the right answer button.
Yeah.
In the first 2 minutes.
How about that? Go me. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp Baseball coming up at 6:50 with a first pitch of 7:05. So
Hold on, Kasey.
Sure thing.
Nah, you smoothed over that. No. I want to gloat for about 60 more seconds.
Oh, go ahead.
Are y'all happy now? Are you happy with all the upsets? People, the listeners, people on my bracket, that's great. Those 37 people who had FAU and Miami, UConn, and San Diego State, are y'all happy now? That's what you get to wrap up the season. UGA TCU Part 2.
On the floor.
Are you happy? Are you entertained?
I just told you,
like
not
my
really.
man Maximus said in Gladiator. It's a good movie.
I'm not that entertained.
Came out like 30 years ago now.
You are old. People forget that you do a show with me, but you're old, you know?
Or, no, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. You never seen Gladiator?
I didn't say I'd never seen it.
I'm just asking.
I ain't never seen it.
Yeah, okay. If you heard that was Aaron Schachter in the back with a painful grunt at Kasey Kurtz. Never seen Gladiator. You sure haven't. That's the truth. Hey, that's the truest statement I've ever heard you say.
I
over
stick
the past
with
3
the
years.
stuff that I like that I've seen. Star Wars, big fan. Batman, all sorts of Batman, like The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
We're talking Ben Affleck Batman, not as big as a fan, but okay. Robert Pattinson Batman. I love the Batman character.
I
Gotham,
heard
the
he
TV
did
show.
well. I heard he did well. I didn't see his.
He
I
was
was just
good.
like, I'm done with this.
He was good. What do you mean done with it? He
Where's
was
Christian
good.
Bale at? Or, give me, I guess he's the new one. I was like, well, give me just somebody else. I'm not watching Ben Affleck do this again.
Yeah, it was rough.
He's grown into it. I mean, he's done some cameos in other movies now. It's grown into it, but still, I'm not greenlighting that Ben Affleck Batman.
Yeah, it's rough.
But my point is, Kasey, are y'all happy now? When you want to sit down and watch the culmination
Not
of an
really.
entire season, you want to have a product on the field, much like LSU in Iowa, even though LSU was running that game too.
Mm-hmm.
But at least it was a fighting chance because you had a great player on the other side. No. Instead, you had two teams totally in different classes. That's not a knock on San Diego
That's
State.
true, though.
UConn basically ran through everybody. But do we think
They
that
did.
UConn, Alabama would have looked different? UConn, Kansas, UConn, Baylor, they were a 3 seed, weren't they? UConn and any of these other teams that throughout the regular season proved why they earned the seeding that they did going into the tournament.
So here's the thing about that, and I said this a while back that I don't think the best team was going to win. I don't know. UConn,
yeah,
I would love to see UConn and Alabama play, but they beat the brakes off of everybody.
No,
they didn't sweat hardly at all the whole tournament. At no point in time probably was the coach concerned. I mean, I got a hard time saying after how they beat teams, how they beat Gonzaga, how they won the national championship. I got a hard time saying they're not the best team, even though if they played against the Kansas, if they played against an Alabama, who wins in a one-game situation, I don't know. But what I do know is UConn just dominated their way through a tournament, and these other teams did not.
Not at all.
So maybe UConn was the best team.
Maybe.
They're good, though. Well, I tell you what.
I did the same thing, Kasey, that I did during the national championship game.
You turned it off.
Watched it, turned away, came back just in case. I didn't even check my Google to see whether or not the game was close. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to flip back here, and this game's going to be within 3. Because basketball, game of runs, you've heard that cliche oftentimes, and it's no different. San Diego State found themselves down big against FAU, and what did they do? Stay the course, plug along, win the game. I'm like, I'm going to turn back and see what's going on, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. More of the same.
So the real question is, what did you turn to after you turned away?
There was all kinds of stuff, man. I was on Amazon Prime. I was on Netflix.
Oh, you'd be paying for all of this.
You know, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I got access to it.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, that closes the book on college basketball.
Yeah, there we go.
22-23, I guess, technically. We move back to something that the book is very much open, and that is the NFL in 2023. That's because it hasn't happened yet. Free agency, still technically going on. Now we're into like the third wave. The Jags signed Josh Wells today. You may remember and be like, don't I know that name? Yes, former Jacksonville Jaguar on the offensive line that they bring back. Swing tackle, likely. But there you go. There's your swing tackle.
Former quarterback.
Really?
In high school, yeah.
How do you know that?
Jack's press release.
Yeah, you read it.
Yeah,
Nice.
It was the last line. I had to read it a couple times like, wait a minute, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the Jags news of the day. Josh Wells, welcome to Jacksonville.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Jacksonville. We're happy to have you. Swing tackle was important last year. Might be important again this year. You never know. But we move on to something that actually does involve the tackle position and last year's swing tackle and Walker Little. But it's a poll that you put up yesterday that we did not have time to get to because we had the lightning edition of the show because we had to get you to the 3 hours of, pregame for the game that was a blowout. We had to do that. But anyway, you put this up on your Twitter at the broadcast on. You said, after Trevor, which offensive player needs to have a good season in order for the Jags to have a great year? And the options were this: Travis Etienne, Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, and Walker Little. I'm surprised by the votes. Not the winner, because I thought that was going to be the winner. But I will just tell you, in second place, with 26% of the vote, is Walker Little.
Breaking the right answer button today. I like it on Take Two Tuesday.
Good call.
Yeah.
Take Two Tuesday. So judging by your applause, Walker Little is your vote as well.
I didn't say that.
Well,
I just
you
appreciate.
clapped.
Yeah, I just appreciate the fact that 26% of people out there, give respect to the foundation of any team, the line play.
Yeah. 26% is a lot of people. Over 100 votes, It's a lot of people. Over 26 people. Anyway, Walker Little getting second place. Surprised by this, Christian Kirk coming in a dead last at 3%.
Yeah, I was wow.
That
Y'all
was
wow for that
wild.
one.
That was kind of something. I'll have some thoughts in a second. Travis Etienne, third place with 18% of the vote. And Calvin Ridley with 53% of the vote. Over half of y'all think Calvin Ridley is the answer. And Calvin Ridley, is sort of the answer, right? We've all talked about adding him. What's that going to do? It's also going to make everyone around him better, which is why the amount of votes for Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne are interesting to me. Because I voted for Travis Etienne here. And the reason I did so is this. You think back to some of the moments of the season for the Jags. And if you even go back to week 1, an opportunity to score a touchdown in a game that you lost was not had involving Travis Etienne. You go to the game against the Giants where he fumbles walking in the end zone. That's 2 wins you could have potentially had with just normal football plays. Nothing spectacular, nothing amazing. Just hold on to the football, 1, catch it, and 2, walk into the end zone in the other example. So, I mean, those 2 examples right there, and you look at a guy that's coming off of what is truly his rookie year because he missed the whole real rookie year. And the Jags at times got away from running the football. There were games where, is Travis Etienne playing? And I think you can look at all of those things and say, yes, they're going to get another weapon in Calvin Ridley. Yes, they're going to keep that together. Trevor's going to get better. This. Imagine if they run the football, though, like some of these other teams. And I'm not sitting here saying they have to be the Eagles, but just imagine if they had that element of their game. I believe they will have it. And I think if they can run the ball successfully more than they did last year, well then, heads up. because we know they're going to be able to throw it around. We know Trevor's going to get these guys the football, like Calvin Ridley, like Christian Kirk. But I really think Travis Etienne's the guy that's under the radar here, and you see a big season from him and everybody else around who you believe is going to have a big season. He takes your offense from top 10 in the league to top 2 in the league if you can run the football that way. And you get him involved in the pass game as well. So I think Travis Etienne is a major player. It's hard to vote against Calvin Ridley. It's hard to vote against Christian Kirk, in my opinion. Walker Little as well. But I think Travis Etienne at 18% of the vote, I think it's got to be more because I think he's so valuable to what they're going to want to do this year.
Okay. I could see that. It's a convincing argument, honestly. So I'm going to make the argument for Christian Kirk, but first let me give you why Walker Little is probably the right answer, even though I started off saying I didn't say it was the right answer. Walker Little is probably the right answer. Jawan Taylor is gone. And I get it, Josh Wells, swing tackle, I understand. Hope he does well for the team. But there ain't really no plan B unless they do something in the draft. And they ain't going to do anything crazy in the draft in the first round, like pick up a tackle, I don't think, unless, you guys have heard something during Brent Friends because I'm working in traffic on WOKV, so I don't know. So, Walker Little, it's your time.
Yeah.
Like, now.
Like, right now.
And by the way, you're trying to protect the franchise, Trevor Lawrence. If Trevor Lawrence don't have time, it don't matter if we got Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram and Travis Etienne out of the backfield.
That's fair.
If Walker Little can't get on his block when Travis is running a sweep to his side or something like that, I mean, granted, he's very shifty. We've seen him make people miss, but do you want to do that for 17 games in the season? We've seen running backs have to do that. I'm sure that Etienne has that kind of talent where he could for a whole season, but no running back wants to do that. Instead, if you got a solid enough run block as at the tackle position or across the line, you can put multiple skill levels of running backs in the backfield, and they can do what they need to do to help the team out. But more importantly, to go back to the initial point, if Trevor don't got time, if Trevor don't feel comfortable in the pocket, if someone's always on his back, thanks, Calvin. I know you're going to make some incredible catches. The same for Evan. The same for, Christian Kirk. You'll make some incredible catches. Trevor will make some incredible throws because they're just that good. But how much better if he has half a second more or a second more? His jersey is clean. He's not worried about that rush, especially from the side when you got the edge rushers coming in. They got some, freaks out there in the NFL. So Walker Little is probably the right answer.
And by the way, just before you go on, Walker Little is a valuable answer towards the Travis Etienne case as well, because as well documented, Jawan Taylor was a great pass blocker. He was not a good run blocker.
That's true.
So you're going to get an upgrade. I mean, it's hard to not get an upgrade at the bare minimum there. You're going to maybe lose something in the pass blocking to your point that you were just making, like can he step up and be that guy? But you are going to get an upgrade in the run game, which will help Travis Etienne, but you were saying.
And then will help the pass game. Because it's symbiotic.
Sure.
So, because they're worried a little bit more about the run.
Yeah,
so, Kasey, that's a good point. Christian Kirk. God, y'all don't – now, listen, we know Christian, he'll get on Twitter now. Now, y'all coming out here crazy. Y'all going to start playing with Captain Kirk like that. First and foremost, who had the most targets this past season? I hope it was Christian Kirk. He had the most catches. He had the most yards.
He had the most targets.
And, the pressure of being a number one receiver – is like the pressure across the board if you're starting, but especially at receiver in a passing league. So if the defense has to account, even when you're having an off game of where you're at, that allows everybody else to eat, especially in the receiving core. One of the reasons why everybody was having such great numbers, I think a big part of that is because, Trevor made a step up. Doug has made an offense that has played to the strengths of most of the people in it. But also, you have a guy like Christian Kirk that the defense has to focus on. Like, they have to. It ain't one of these things where we can just, back off, play zone, even in a couple of games where we looked at him and we were just like, oh, man, where's Christian at? We said the same thing for Zay. We said the same thing for Evan Ingram throughout the season. They had a couple of games where they didn't go completely missing, but you get what I'm saying. Like, It was like, okay, like this isn't what we thought we signed up for when we brought you in. But for the most part, he's been there. And he allowed that pressure that he took on to help out the rest of the receiving core. If he's having a trash-ish year, not having a great season, granted you got a Calvin Ridley there, but then it's more of the same of what we just had this past season. Because now you still just have one guy that you're mainly having to focus on. Let's say Calvin's having a good year. Okay, you're focusing on him. But if teams aren't worried about Christian, or they're not really worried, or he's not really performing the way that he performed before, it's like more of a horizontal move as far as the production. Do you feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though you have one extra piece because you're adding in Calvin Ridley to Zay Jones and Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk, if one of those three aren't producing, then okay, Calvin is holding up the slack, but it's just like, okay, I mean, this isn't taking us over the top.
Yeah.
Whereas, again, if you have the line play, well, number one, if you have the line play, I think that takes everything over the top.
Sure.
But if Christian is showing out and he's still the number one, because I'm calling him our number one receiver, and then you know, if Calvin gets back to form, we just have two number one receivers, which is great for us.
Yeah.
But you need that one guy that they're going to be able to focus on, even if he's not having a great game, a great couple of games. And I think Christian Kirk is that guy. And I think in order for us to really take that next step up, yes, everybody has to execute. But if he doesn't do it, it's going to feel, I think, more so like this past season, even during the second half of the season where we were really starting to move on the point total and being able to move the ball up and down the field, instead of the overwhelming type offense that I think that we have the potential to have starting in week one with the guys that we have on the roster.
So they can have overwhelming offense. I believe in that as well. And Christian Kirk is the biggest part of that, because when you look at the years that these three guys had last year, in Zay and Christian and Evan Ingram, and you add in another person that is expected to start and expected to be a high target man, somebody's numbers have to go down somewhere along the way. Not everybody can have a career year again, I don't think, unless Trevor's throwing for like 5,500 yards, which would be great.
Well, yeah.
But somebody's going to have to take that step back, right? And to your point, I do not believe that it will be Christian Kirk, because I was so impressed during the season with Christian Kirk that whether he got the football or not, I left the stadium and left games that I watched at home when they were on the road thinking, this guy is quite literally always open. I mean, he runs such a crisp route, and he's just open all the time. Didn't mean he was getting the football every time. Didn't mean he was making every catch, but it meant he was open. And that is something that it just doesn't go away. And you have Calvin Ridley, who's going to be a problem. He's going to be a deep threat on the outside. But if that's not there, you have Christian Kirk, who's always open.
Yeah.
Trevor just has to get back to it.
Right.
And then you throw in an Evan Ingram, you throw them in running the football. So I'm with you, man. Christian Kirk getting 3% of the vote there is wild, because if he performs the way he did last year, and you believe Calvin Ridley is going to perform anywhere close to what he was before he took the time off and the suspension and all that, you're going to have 2,000-yard receivers. You're going to have, I'm not even going to say 1A, 1B. You're going to have wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
That's just what it's going to be. And I think Christian Kirk showed you that you can bank on that. First year, big deal, and he delivered. And I can't imagine him taking a step back. Somebody will. Zay Jones' numbers will go down, I assume. Marvin Jones will obviously not be there, so those numbers will be up for grabs. And I do think it'd be hard pressed for Evan Ingram to have the same season he had last year. I just think with bringing in Calvin Ridley, you're going to lose some targets, and I think they're going to have to run the football. He drafted Travis Etienne in the first round. I know they didn't. Doug didn't.
Yeah. But
they're going to have to run the football. So I don't think Christian Kirk's numbers go down. Calvin Ridley obviously joining the mix. A couple of the numbers go down. But I think when I look at the options you put up there, obviously Calvin Ridley plays in. I think Walker Little's a good answer here. I think Travis Etienne and Christian Kirk. A lot of good options there, Brian Middleton.
I would argue the more that we kind of talk this out, and that's a good one, Kemp. May have to steal that from you.
What did he say?
He said may have to change Kirk's name from Captain Kirk to Hotline Kirk because bro's really open 24/7.
Yeah.
But I tell you, the more that we talk about this now, I truly believe that on this list, Calvin Ridley should be last. who has to have a great year, who has to have a really good year out of the 4 names that we just named. Think about it. They're picking up Calvin Ridley because they want to enhance the offense.
Sure.
But I don't think anybody on this 1-year deal, I don't believe that anybody is like, he's a cornerstone of the offense right now. They're like Trevor, like ETN. And then you start going into, I think that Christian Kirk. And then you're going to go to the offensive line. Now, I don't know if people are saying that Walker Little's a cornerstone.
Sure.
But he better be able to block like a corner in a stone or something like that when these guys are trying to get after Trevor. And then with Calvin Ridley, we've said it plenty of times. He's going to need time. I know he is working hard. I know he is anxious to show what he can do and what he can prove on the field. And I'm glad. I want players to play with that chip even after they've gotten their big contracts, even after, they're made men in their sport of choice. Great. But he's going to need time. It's just, we know this. We've seen this with other players. We've seen it with Deshaun Watson. I'm not comparing the two except for the time off. And I'm just saying, I know different positions and everything. You got to get acclimated in real time during the game. Even when you start talking about practice in the offseason and things that he's probably already partaken in that we don't know about with the team, he's going to need time. So do I think Calvin really needs to be the next player after Trevor on this list that has to have a good season in order for the Jags to have a great year? I mean, no. And I think out of those 4 names, he probably would be last.
I think the way you phrase the question there is important because does he have to? I would say no. I would agree with you. But, I mean, he does take them to the next level. So
yeah.
I think your argument there is right because does he have to? No. But if you get what you think you're going to get from Calvin Ridley and you have to get what you got from these other guys from last year. So I think it's a good question. I think it was an interesting poll result. But I think the way you phrase the question, does he have to? I would say no. I agree with you. Let's take a break. Overtime with Kurtz in Middleton, ESPN 690. We have Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp Baseball coming up in about 23 minutes or so, give or take a couple of minutes. But when we come back, we continue the show. I believe we have This or That. Brian Middleton, is that right? Please tell me I didn't just empty tease. Fantastic. This or That on the other side. We'll be right back.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly clear skies tonight. Temperatures dropping into the 60s. Some fog and clouds to begin your Wednesday, then partly sunny and hot with afternoon highs in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Now get 0% interest for 5 years with nothing down.
Does your digital marketing work? Not sure? Would you like to be? Then reach out to CMG Local Solutions. At CMG Local Solutions, we help you find new customers with a suite of powerful digital marketing services, including search, targeted display, video, and analytics. In fact, we're a Google Premier partner, an honor given only to their top marketing partners. So if you want results you can actually measure, both on the web and on your bottom line, we can give them to you. Learn more about how we can help you at cmglocalsolutions.com.
Hey folks, Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. I'm here today with my son Ammon. Ammon is the air duct cleaning manager for Zero Res. So Ammon, many people ask, who should I hire to clean my air ducts?
Well, there's a few things to look for. First, does the company have an HVAC contractor's license? In the state of Florida, you must have this to legally clean air ducts. Second, is the technician properly trained? Zero Res technicians are trained and certified by the National Air Duct Cleaning Association. Third, what kind of system are they using? Zero Res uses the most powerful truck-mounted system in the industry that generates over 15,000 cubic feet per minute of air movement. Most companies use a portable unit at around 5,000 CFMs. That's a third the power of Zero Res. Cleaning air ducts is all about power.
So, what kind of deals are you running?
This month, I'll give you $50 off your air duct cleaning. And if you mention WOKV, I'll disinfect your air ducts for free. That's normally $100.
Wow, so I can get up to $150 off?
That's right.
Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Wait, aren't these all charitable donations?
At Magda's Tax Prep, every person
I'd
counts.
rather not have to file for an extension.
She needs new auditors to maximize returns on her family time.
On itemized deductions. Hey, can someone help with these 1099s?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
A good work partner knows what you need before you need it. That's how it feels when you work with Cintas. Your dedicated Cintas service reps get to know your business and have the industry knowledge that can help you prepare for what's ahead. They'll deliver your team's workwear freshly laundered. Make sure your first aid and safety supplies, mats, mops, and towels are stocked when you need them. And your fire extinguishers are inspected and in working order. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hope you had a nice weekend and off to a good start to your work week. Mowed the lawn maybe on the weekend, did some things around the house. Well, I was moving some furniture this weekend. No problem, right? Until you feel it in the back and the hip and the shoulders and the knees. If this is you and has been you dealing with joint pain, QC Kinetics can help. QC Kinetics is helping so many people here in the Jacksonville area get lasting relief from joint pain without surgery, without drugs. They've got 2 clinics now in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, and the patient satisfaction reports are amazing. And now they've taken it to a new level with a new medical director, Dr. Peter Atch. He's a renowned triple board certified medical doctor with decades of experience. So if you're tired of living with pain in your back, hip, shoulder, or knees, don't let anyone tell you surgery is your only option. You can get a free consultation with QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, 904-274-5522. The science behind it is simple. Get a free consultation to learn more about it with QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Sarah wants a yard.
My own little paradise.
Brad, however, hates yard work.
The only thing I hate more than cutting the grass is paying someone to cut the grass.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Sarah and Brad found a great home with a yard. A very, very small yard.
Time to get it done. And I'm done.
Bundling without compromise at Geico.com.
Natalia, solid dismount, but that little pause is a deduction.
Top tumblers hope to stick the landing with Coach Jasmine.
That aerial sequence still needs work.
She needs more certified athletic trainers to find her balance.
Focus. I'm going to need you for the all-around. Wait, who's spotting the vault?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Are you just randomly sitting in there saying Hendon Hooker?
He was on the mock draft going to Minnesota. Todd
McShay's mock draft. We talked about that during Brent Friends.
Hendon Hooker.
Hendon Hooker's very interesting all of a sudden. He went from second-round guy, injured guy, to definitely first-round guy, it feels like.
Can you imagine if Tennessee would have pulled out the rest of that season?
If he wouldn't have got hurt?
He'd be right up there.
He would be. It's interesting. I think it's interesting. I personally didn't realize the numbers that he put up outside of last year.
Yeah.
And we went back and kind of looked through them.
Legit. Okay.
Legit. Accurate passer. It's going to be fascinating. He in that mock draft that Todd McShay had, he was mocked to go to the Vikings. I don't know if he's going to make it to the Vikings now. There's some interesting thoughts on Will Levis potentially falling down the board. Do people like Hendon Hooker more than Will Levis? I mean, I think it's going to be fascinating. It's going to be a good draft.
Yeah.
I promise you it's going to be a good draft. And it is a couple of weeks away. This is Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton. Brian Middleton is the broadcast on. He's on the ones and twos. I'm Kasey Kurtz. We go for about 10 more minutes before Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp Baseball home opener down at the stadium, which you could go. But if you're not on the way down there to go to the game, you can listen live right here on ESPN 690. Brian Middleton, this or that?
This or that. Let's go. Kasey Kurtz.
I don't need the rules.
First up, more dominant performance. UConn in the national championship game, or Kasey Kurtz dog walking Chase Bunker in multiple rounds of trivia?
Oh, Kasey Kurtz. Myself.
Okay.
Here's the thing. If
Humble.
you would have said, because it was dominant by UConn, if you would have said UConn's NCAA tournament, I would have said UConn.
Really?
Because they done dog walked everybody. Right? But like that national championship game, like, they were just a better team. Better teams win more times than not. I, in my trivia situations, have lost the chase multiple times.
You have. Well, 2022 was ugly. It was a massacre.
We get it. And then I came out and rolled him twice. You know what I'm saying?
You have.
The ultimate comeback story.
You have. Very rocky.
It's a Kim Kardashian situation.
Look at you. Ooh-wee. Kim Kardashian of Jacksonville Sports Radio. The white Megan Thee Stallion of Jacksonville Sports Media.
Yeah, that's still a good one. But anyway, the point of the story is me is the answer there. UConn was great. That's fine. But me winning in trivia, as the listeners have probably learned by now, not the smartest guy. And if I beat you twice in trivia, you might as well just give up.
Okay. Next up.
On everything.
Whoa, not everything. We
Not
want you to
everything.
live.
Not everything.
There we go.
But like everything trivia and question related.
When it comes to facing you. Okay, next up. More surprising good start. Tampa Bay Rays 4-0.
Ooh.
Or the Cincinnati Reds 3-1.
Go with the Reds. Like, the Rays... Here's the deal. The Rays are like a good team, right? I pick at the Rays because they are my team. That's how this works. That is how sports fandom works. You pick at your team. And the Rays, one thing they have is elite pitching. Their pitching staff is unbelievable. Their pitching staff will be incredibly unbelievable when Tyler Glasnow comes back, if they keep him on the team for the full year and he stays healthy the full year, which really has been a problem for him. So I'm not surprised that they dog walked the Tigers because the Tigers stink. And they went up to Nationals Park and beat the Nationals, who also stink. The Reds have no business being good. The Reds have a bunch of dudes that you've never heard of, or if you've heard of him, you're like, dang, I thought he was on the Padres, like Will Myers. Will Myers is my favorite current player. Love Will Myers. I know where he's at.
Okay.
But like they have a random collection of dudes, and it's impressive that they get wins. They're an interesting franchise. Great home stadium. Love it. Been a couple of times, but I am more impressed that the Reds early in the season are winning games. The Rays should have been winning games.
All right, Case. Next up. Easter candy. Easter candy.
Okay.
Cadbury eggs or Peeps.
Oh, Cadbury eggs.
There you go, boy.
It's not close.
Because you know.
It's not close.
I don't like Peeps a whole lot, and I'd be like, what's wrong with y'all? So, okay.
Yeah, no, it is not. And here's the crazy part. Cadbury eggs, good story. When at UNF, I lived with Amanda, and I lived with Amanda's friend, Kayla.
Okay. Whoa.
And
all right.
we bought the Cadbury eggs and put them in the freezer.
Yeah.
They did not make it in 2 hours. About the small ones.
Smashed? Destroyed?
Destroyed.
On site?
Like, we couldn't even buy them. There was like a collective pack we had that we could not buy the Cadbury eggs or else it was over. And I don't even like chocolate like that. But it's different.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The
Yeah.
eggs are different. Now, the Peeps are disgusting.
They're
I'm just going to
nasty.
say it. They're gross. And here's the crazy part. Duncan will come out, I think it's Duncan, with the Peeps
They do.
coffee.
You're right. Yeah.
Somebody should go to jail.
Prison even.
Yes. The highest prison. The one where you're not allowed to talk to nobody. Solitary confinement.
One of the hole?
The hole. For Peeps coffee, and I'm a big Dunkin' coffee guy, but every time I see the Peeps, I haven't been there in a couple of days. It's probably up now. I'm going to tell them. Somebody need to go.
Okay, next up. Worst look. Worst look. UGA's Jalen Carter saying he's only meeting with teams with a top 10 pick, or being out of shape for his pro day. Did you see that?
Yeah. Oh, man.
What's the worst look?
I think they're both pretty bad, but I'll go with the pro day because
yeah, I agree.
You had this whole time to prepare, and then everything that happened at the combine, like granted, I don't want to say he needed a good showing because he has 2 good years of showing on his film, but it's just it left a bad taste in mouth, I think. I think this also does too with not meeting with teams. I think it's dumb. I think I go back to what Doug Peterson has said multiple times where he wants to do research for when these guys become free agents in their career. Like, he said that so many times, and it sticks with me. So I'm like, this is a dumb move by this guy. But I don't think he's wrong in that he's definitely going in the top 10 no matter what. Even with the pro day disaster, even with the not meeting with other teams, and even with obviously the situation where somebody lost their life, which is unfortunate, and he was involved in it, he's still going to go in the top 10. So it's tough, but I think the pro day one is worse to not be prepared.
All right, sticking with the NFL wide receiver draft talk. TCU's Quentin Johnston or Ohio State's Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Sorry, I was reading this comment from Stephen Mann on Facebook.
What did he say?
He said, I just seen Peeps Pepsi.
Man, I hate all y'all. You hear me? I hate all y'all.
Don't drink it. I'm sorry if you like it, Stephen.
There
Mann,
are carcinogens. I think I said that right.
Whoa.
They just found like the lavender Peeps. Carcinogens, however you say that word. The stuff that gives you, it helps cancer along or something like that.
Whoa. In the Peeps? Or in the Pepsi?
In the lavender and like something flavored, colored Peeps, yeah.
Wow, that's awful.
Crazy.
Peeps are gross.
3 big things you need to know.
Different station.
Yeah.
But URWOKV's Brian Middleton, as I heard you say.
I know, over and over again.
Report. Here's the thing. Did you see that chart that came out and it ranked like college prospect wide receivers, and Quentin Johnston was like 4th?
I've seen a couple of them, and I'm like...
on that same list, Devonta Smith was 2nd, and I was like, you out of pocket for that. But this is a tough one for me. And I'm going to lean Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Okay.
Solely because of the history and the amount of wide receivers that Ohio State produces. Yeah. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, even though I think they're close. They don't do the same things, but I wonder, will Quentin Johnston's style of play relate to the NFL in terms of his hard yards? Because when you get to the NFL, everybody's a grown man.
Yeah.
In college, that's not the case. So will he still be able to run through people as a wide receiver? I don't know. And I think Jackson Smith and Jigba, just that style plays. You throw it over the top, you beat somebody, you go make a play. I think it's very close. But right now, I'm leaning Smith and Jigba, but I'm telling you mostly because of the Ohio State thing.
Okay. All right, Kasey. You know what? I see that we got a little over a minute left, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up this or that.
Fair enough. Good call.
Thanks.
Those are some good ones. I didn't realize that Peeps was going to get all the heat they got today.
Oh, I hate Peeps. I've hated them forever. They look like chicks.
Yeah.
Like out of like you break an egg and the chick didn't make it, but that's what I thought they looked like, and that's what I thought as a little kid. I'm like, who does this? Who says this is a good idea? Marshmallows. All right, fam. I'm good on that. Peeps Pepsi.
That's awful.
How dare they?
Stephen Mann says no way. By the way, not drinking that.
Pepsi.
Why does everything have to be Peeps? You know,
it's Easter. I don't know.
I don't get it. Anyway.
Oh boy.
Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, the season is back. It started last weekend in Gwinnett, but now the home opener is tonight against the Durham Bulls, the AAA team of the Tampa Bay Rays. Shout out to the Rays. But it's always Go Shrimp when we are here on ESPN 690. And that is coming up next. Scott Kornberg and Matt Davis will have the call. And that will do it for Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton. For the broadcast on Brian Middleton, I am Kasey Kurtz, and we are back at it again tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Brent Friends at 3 o'clock, and then more Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. But that's up next for the Shrimp. Have a good night, everybody. I want to eat a spicy chicken in my Tesla. Is it too much to ask?